Okay, so
who runs Canada? Take one.
Yes. One of the things that we got a problem with here in this fucking country is we got a lot of Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Angry Jeff is upset.
Yeah, I mean, how many Tim Hortons do we have?
A lot.
One on every corner.
At one point,
20,000?
Oh, more. I'm sure.
Some of them.
We got a donut popping fucking sedative, television watching, overweight fucking population that has no idea who runs the country. And there's a time where people have to wake up and understand who really runs the show and what their collective goal is.
Goat Nation.
So, the story that I'm referring to here is the Canadian Council of Chief Executives.
And who would they be?
Who are they? Yes, tell us, please.
Well, it started in the 1980s.
I read 1976. It was renamed in the 80s.
In earnest, the thing started in the 80s, right?
Yes.
But you're right. There was a precursor to it.
Yes.
The group in the 80s was called the Business Council on National Issues, right?
Yes.
BCNI, right? And that was the top 150 or so corporations, right?
The CEOs of those corporations, yes.
Yes. And they have had an incredibly low profile. Such a low profile that I never even heard of them, right?
Yes.
Did you hear about them before?
No,
I've never heard about them until you mentioned them to me.
The Colbert Report informed me for the first time of these people, which actually Jeff said, did you hear about these guys? And then when I started to look them up, he was the first one I found because he's one of my subscribers on YouTube, the Colbert Report.
He did it.
And then he started me on it. And then, not to take you off before you get into the exacts, but everything I looked up on YouTube was actually directly from them.
Exactly.
Saying the things, look at all the good things we're doing. We're bringing MBAs into our workplaces so you can stay at work and study at the same time and become better business managers. And they've taken university into their work now. They're like the corporations really, wow. We are the blueprint for how the world is going to turn. And it's proven by these guys. These guys they're incorporating work and school together now. Like, you're just going to be taught to fill your role.
This BCNI, Business Council on National Issues, what eventually became the Canadian Council of Chief Executives. This is another name for them, right? And so basically what we're talking about here is about 150 of the top CEOs in Canada.
Yes.
The biggest corporations in Canada. Corporations like Bombardier, Bell.
Yes.
Right?
And I've heard that they also have, what do they call honorary members? So there's a few fucking guys in there to tell them really how to steer the ship. I thought that was the funniest part. Also, with honorary members. So it goes from all the CEOs,
former prime ministers,
yes, exactly.
Ministers.
They don't even tell you.
Finance.
They don't even tell you who some of them are.
You know, they've had this low profile, but when John Manley took over, right, a couple of years ago, in 2011, all of a sudden they came with a different approach. And my belief is that all of a sudden, you know, like they started to raise their profile, and he started releasing these videos talking about them, right, because he was the CEO of them, right. And I think they're a great thing for Canada. You know, they're looking out for Canadian interests, right? And it's the top corporations in Canada, and they're getting together.
First.
It's very difficult to get all these people in the room at the same time, and yet they do it. At least
but you're not doing it for Canada.
Dozens and dozens of times a year.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
Okay, so they had 29 meetings with the Prime Minister in 2011.
29, eh?
29.
Yes.
2 a month.
Right? 2 a month. And to give that a comparison, it was, I know that David Suzuki Foundation's been trying to get to see the Prime Minister for years.
And how long did
They gave up. They gave up.
They gave up. Well, I got the council. No, I'm full. I got
a bunch of councils I gotta run. I got no time for David Suzuki's TV show. Get out of here.
Is he
I already
part of
watched
the
that
council?
program.
No, he's
Except
not
when
part of the
Toronto's
council. I got no time for him. He's not part of the council.
He's here to have right. No, you're in the wrong Rolodex, buddy.
That fucker
People not
Harper,
to
you
call.
know that fucking asshole? He stopped taking questions from the press.
Yeah. He's too busy.
He tried.
Well, you know, like here, what they're trying to do here. Now, I want to get into this because we're going to get into Stephen Harper and all that. I want to keep it on.
Well, he's their go-to guy, right?
Right, exactly.
He's the door.
When John Manley took over, he sent a letter to the Ottawa Citizen, right, and to the Ontario Minister of Finance, and he started issuing all these public statements, you know,
threats?
speaking the fucking dogma of the fucking corporations, basically, you know, they're a great asset to Canadians and all this.
Thank God they're here for us.
And there's so much. This is really, really important. It's not. It's probably the most important thing when we think about who has power within our nation, who has the power to influence government. If there is the most powerful corporations, the wealthiest corporations in Canada, and they're meeting privately 30 times with the fucking Prime Minister every year, right? They have. It's tremendous lobbying power.
Well, they don't even need to pay lobbyists because they are the lobbyists.
Well, that's it.
They can lobby for their own companies, right? Well, that law doesn't work for me, you know, Steve. You know, because he's no longer Stephen, the Honorable Stephen Harper. He's Steve at that point. Hey, Steve, that doesn't work for me. Oh, sorry, fuck, Bob.
My belief.
I'll fuck over somebody in the next.
I think the reason why Manley took this approach when he took over is because he was watching the Bilderbergs and how the attention was starting to grow, right? And they figured, well, we'll get our stuff out and we'll try to make it seem like we're not a threat in any way, right? We have nothing to hide. Here's our website, because I checked out their website. They've got, you know, all kinds of information and, you know,
what good they're doing,
right? Exactly.
The good things
they're
doing.
I think that they were aware of the internet age, perhaps, and they're like, okay, we're not going to be able to hide this.
Well, it was in Canada that what's his name, Brzezinski, gave the lecture and said the number one threat is online media.
Yes,
right?
And that was in 2010, and John Manley attended that
in Canada, right? You know,
absolutely,
and that was at that fucking meeting, wasn't it? Fuck. So dude,
exactly.
These guys are
So I got a lot of this information from Honey Badger Press. They did a tremendous amount of great work on this, and really, you know, like there's a history to this group, and it's quite sinister. It's a real power fucking, you know, force in Canada. I mean, it is the power. And when we see like how much money they've been given from the government, right? Our money, taxpayers' money, going to bail them out to boost their industries. Like we know in Quebec alone, Bombardier has gotten like millions
government
and millions.
contracts?
Why are you picking on these companies? These companies have a right to be. They have to make money.
They have to make money.
You're defending him,
right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The president.
The hell's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? What did I tell you?
The president before John Manley was Thomas D'Aquino, right? Probably you guys have heard of this guy before, but he was the CEO, right? And like when the Honey Badger Press went to go and try to interview him, right? They got the representative, right? The vice president of policy and communications, this guy named Ross Laver, right? And he said he was criticizing the Honey Badger guy who was coming, like, I really want to give an interview, I really want to talk to Mr. D'Aquino, right? And basically said that his philosophy was excessively idealistic and divorced from the realities of the real world.
Wow.
Right? So totally, you're not getting an interview. Fuck you. We don't even want to talk with you. L. Ian MacDonald. You know that guy?
Yeah, I know that guy.
I don't.
The Gazette guy.
Okay.
TV guy.
He's a schmuck, man.
Shill.
He a total fucking conservative shill. A speechwriter for Brian Mulroney.
Yeah, I was gonna say leftover from.
I used to hear him on CJAD, and every time he'd come on, I'd either have to turn down the fucking radio because it's one to fucking hit it. Fucking total mouthpiece for the Mulroney administration, and how Mulroney was the greatest fucking thing that ever happened to Canada, and look what he did, and look what NAFTA's done, and all that shit. Anyways, but this guy wrote, quote, he said at one point, he said, "No one would be surprised if Democracy Watch demanded a guest list and howled with outrage at the corporate elite rubbing shoulders with the political elite," right?
No, it's disturbing that
It's normal procedure for running a country from behind a desk.
29 meetings behind the scenes which are not publicly politicized.
They only come to see the
advertised.
picture of a desk.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
sure they
because
Honest desk.
the corporations that are in this council of chief executives, a lot of them are those media corporations, right? That should be reporting
do.
this
There's
news.
only 6 in Canada, or 3 in Canada, or whatever. There's
Right.
not many of them out of the 150. There's only 5 or 6 of them.
There, yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
There's a few really
that's
big
a few
ones.
chairs, right? We got Alcan, or Alcoa. We got the big. We got a few big.
Can
giants,
West
yeah.
Global and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay, so Thomas D'Aquino said the council's influence has little to do with the members' companies having $800 billion in sales. And this was in 2007, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even
Nothing
though
to do with
that's
that.
half of the Canadian economy, so it had little to do with the fact that they actually
Small amount.
Yeah.
Small bit. Small
yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Well, they're
So-
stealing people's money. They know
Not
how to
much
do it.
lobbying influence there at all.
So, Ross Laver said that the council rarely does much lobbying at its meetings. They just get together to talk about baseball, you know.
Yeah, of course. They're just shooting the shit, having
Yeah.
lunch. No, I'm hungry.
And
Whatever.
his
I gotta
quote-
eat
Give
with
me the
somebody.
big numbers.
I gotta eat with somebody.
What's the
Right?
percentage?
And his quote was, "I think it would be naive to think that there's anything to be gained by getting in a room with the Prime Minister and twisting his arm, regardless of who the PM is."
Yeah, there was nothing to be gained.
Right.
Nothing. What
Yeah.
are they? What are they even insinuating? That
Why
we-
would they twist his arm when they give him the envelope full of cash?
Yeah.
Right? There's little to be gained. You got the
Nothing
Prime
gained
Minister
here.
in a room.
I can fight him and get arrested, or I can give him money and he won't say nothing.
Yeah, 800 billion in deals in business. Yeah, nothing to be gained.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Exactly.
It's a lot of haircuts. That's the way I see it. 800 billion a year, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of haircuts.
A lot of
man.
steaks.
So they had constant meetings with cabinet ministers. Many organizations, as I said before, can never even get into the Prime Minister, even if they try for years, like the David Suzuki Foundation. Like, I don't want to talk to those fucking tree huggers, right?
Yeah,
Then
exactly. What do they want?
Tim Hortons
What do
want to
they
talk
want?
to me?
Clean
Okay.
air and clean water again? Those bastards. You know? Fuck. Drink your pollutants. Alberta,
Get the army in here. Get rid of them quickly.
enjoy your bitumen fucking
enjoy drinking.
tail ponds there. Oh, man. Anyway, go on, Jeff.
So,
It's more bad news.
journalist Andrew Maeda and Mark Kennedy said that, quote, lobbyists for Canadian industry, particularly those representing the country's leading chief executives and oil sectors, top the list of those who get access to Prime Minister Stephen Harper over the last 2 years. Government records reveal.
Wow.
So, well, I mean, we know that, right?
So whoever, but we know because really, our conservative government, thank God they're here because they get to point out all the things that are wrong with people. How every week we get a new scandal, we get a new, either it's a backbencher being told to shut the hell up, and we'll deal with you. Did you hear Stephen Harper?
Yeah, no, I know. We'll get to you four in a minute.
Yeah. The people that actually want things for their own ridings, but they're told to shut up and told the
Shut
company.
up or else.
So did I say company line? I mean party line. Whoops, I meant to say company there and slipped. Holy fuck, he's
You work for
appointed
a
3
company
people to
store,
the
right?
Senate, all of which have been found guilty of fucking trying to rob everyone in Canada from overspending. Oh, and don't forget, one of them's accused of rape.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
sexual assault and battery.
High on blow.
Yeah. Oh my God! And he's 30-something, and we have to pay this asshole till
And
the
he
day
can't even
dies.
beat up Justin Trudeau in a fight.
Oh, it's that guy.
Yes, Brazo was
Oh
fucking
my God.
accused of fucking sexual assault, rape, battery, all these things, and we appointed him at 36 years old. We
Who's his
appointed
father?
him to our Senate, and we
For
had
life.
to pay him for the rest. And you know what that guy did on April Fools? He came out on April Fools, put a thing on what is that? Twitter, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to give up my position." So anyway, people don't have to worry about it anymore. And then he retweeted and said, "April Fools." What an asshole! What an asshole!
You should have to give it up.
She just
Why?
make
He's
him
part
fight
of the
Justin
committee
Trudeau
of
again.
fucking
And Trudeau can hear him, but we'll have it
executives.
in the name.
Apparently,
So
his
they
uncle
really give
or
him elbows
father
and
or
shit.
brother or
So it's
cousin.
gonna, it's you know, I mean, it's
It's a joke. It's a joke.
exactly, man.
We're all fucking
So,
sheeple and stupid, and we
one
deserve
of the,
to eat our GMOs and fucking glucose, fructose ourselves to death. That's what we deserve because we're not active. We don't even write one goddamn letter. We don't do anything. I ask everybody, how many people do you know that are politically active? And everybody says the same thing. None. Okay, we're lucky to meet people on the world in a cybernetic world that connect. I work in the public, man. It's not like I talk to one person a week. I talk to 15 people a day. Nobody has time. Oh, nobody has time. They're making us the collective, and Canada is the ultimate.
Resistance is futile.
Yes, that's right. Canada is the ultimate blueprint because we're collectivized.
You will be assimilated.
We were drugged into believing everything is going to be fine because we're Canadian. And we're the blueprint. They've written letters. We're the blueprint for multiculturalism. We're the blueprint for how the bank should work. We're the blueprint.
We're the blueprint for the New World Order.
Exactly.
They're
collectivism
practicing on us, and I thought
look
they were
how
practicing here in Quebec because it's French culture inside of an English North America, so they've got an isolated pocket. They have different experiments at different
They
levels.
know
going on
apathy is highest here.
Let's look at some of the stuff that this CCCE, Canadian.
Oh, they
Council-
do. They do stuff while they meet with Stephen Harper. What do they do?
Well, they've done a lot of stuff. One of the biggest stuff that they did was the Competition Act, right?
Okay.
Which is the privatizing the legislative process for, doing business, basically, right, with the government.
They privatized
tendering-
the law. I love this. This is good.
Yeah. In 1985, BCNI, which is the precursor to the Canadian Council of Chief Executives, approached Andre Ouellette, Minister of Consumer and Corporate Affairs, with an offer he couldn't refuse. The BCNI decided that Canada needed a new Competition Act, right? Thomas D'Aquino spent $1 million to hire a team of lawyers, 25 lawyers, in 1985, right, which produced a 236-page master plan to
Steal everybody's money?
well, how they're going to tender contracts, right? How the government
Legalize stealing people's money.
exactly,
how we're going to legalize us getting everything. Oh my God! I mean, we should get a committee, guys.
So
that's our problem.
In
we should have a think tank
1986,
funded by the government.
1986, the Competition Act was passed, right? And it became legislation, and it was almost word for word
what they wanted.
what the 25 lawyers wrote for the.
Nice. It's like the Monsanto Protection Act.
Exactly.
Which was written by Monsanto.
There was no public debate, no publicity from the press, nothing, right? No,
Well, we didn't, dude. I'm sure to this day, the first time people are going to hear about it is the first time. It's the first time I've heard about that act right now. It's
So-
the first time everyone else is going to hear about it, and it was probably the first time you heard about it when you looked it up. You were probably like, "What the hell is this fucking act?"
Exactly.
What the hell is this fascist bastard?
Exactly. This is the kind. While you were sleeping,
While you were asleep.
right?
We took away your right to sleep.
We
Wake
did
up!
this. We did this. It's great for us. It's great for us.
Yeah.
Great for us.
Yeah.
Who's
Are
the
you
us?
one of us? Okay, you're not one of us.
You're
but
not
it's
one of
great-
us, but it's great for
Great
us.
for us.
Yeah.
John Manley, I think it's great for Canadians, but I don't even like Canadians. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll get
no.
to that later. So, what are the major
But Jeff
what are the
digresses.
major provisions of the Competition Act? Well, the first one, I guess you could say, was no provisions for class action lawsuits, right?
Just like the Monsanto Act. This is fuck. Go on.
No, exactly.
It's like a blueprint. Go on.
No, it's just like the Monsanto Act.
It's the fucking blueprint. As soon as you said that,
They
I'm
just
like,
fill
that's
in the blanks.
verbatim. That's verbatim what came out of the Monsanto Act.
Spend an hour filling in the form. We'll put
As
your
we
name
said,
in the blanks.
the
and it'll be done.
blueprint, right? And
We
there
are the blueprint.
Woo!
Woohoo! We're finally leading the world in something other than hockey. Yes.
What's that?
Fucking
Lawn
fascist
bowling.
laws.
Fucking. All right, we're leading the world in fucking. Excellent.
Fascist laws. Fucking promoting
Fascist
business.
laws. I know they're doing
So
a good job
the
there.
second,
Small business.
the second
No,
major,
large.
They're making
the
North Korea
second
jealous.
major provision was basically
Oh, they
corporate.
have another provision.
Well, yeah, of course.
There's probably a
Yeah,
couple.
man, there's many
Number
pages.
two.
You know, they gotta sneak a lot of shit in. There's a lot of stuff you want to get.
Let's
going.
get
to
a couple
read
of provisions.
the finer of the fine print,
All
right?
right, skip
Right?
to the conclusion.
So corporate monopolies became so vaguely defined, right, that they were almost virtually impossible to,
Pinpoint.
to prove.
Yeah, how
But
can we
they're
tell Bell owns everything?
You can't.
Especially when they own everything. It's impossible.
It's these oligarchies, man. It's just fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does
well,
Bell own all the telephone
we'll
poles
take
in
this
Canada?
territory. You
They
take
sure-
that territory,
Yeah.
and don't fuck with our territory.
Yeah, no, we
We'll
won't.
stomp you.
Yeah,
We'll break your
exactly.
legs or something, right?
We have two phone companies, right? Bell, media companies, right?
They are.
Bell,
They're
Bell,
pay me with
Bell and
Steve
Rogers.
Harper?
No, Bell and Rogers, right?
Yeah.
That apparently, of course, in fair market.
The Gambinos and
they-
the
yeah.
Corleones.
Exactly, they would be out to get each other, but instead,
You scratch my back, I'll scratch
a
yours.
little handshake here and there. Let's both do.
Let's
the
go to the
Olympics.
Turkish bath and make
Exactly.
a deal.
It's a deal. They made the deal, and they're like, we're arch enemies, except when the Olympics are on. They're, all of a sudden, we're best
Yeah.
friends. But now we find out they meet every 2 weeks with Stephen Harper anyway.
So they're
they
best friends every 2 weeks.
They're best friends all the time.
Well, I mean, the Prime Minister has to know what to do, you know. I mean,
When this
somebody
began,
has to
our
tell
little
them.
thing, I said there are no secret CEOs. I'm convinced now that we know about this
Oh yeah, there's tons.
this council.
Been
I'm
finding
convinced.
a whole bunch of more people.
No, there are no secret CEOs. It doesn't happen by accident. You are not going to just happen into
Well,
the
yeah, I see
CEO
what you mean.
position.
Yeah,
They're not coming to hire us right now?
No, they're not coming
What
to
are those
hire
black
anyone.
helicopters
And I
for?
don't care what you're. I don't care how much. I don't care if you're a genius.
No,
I
you're
don't
groomed
care-
to be in there.
I don't care
and
if you're
picked.
one of those eidetic memory fucking weirdos that never forgets anything. You're still not getting the job. You're never getting the job unless you're the chosen one.
Yeah, you've been tapped.
Continue on with this
So the
debacle.
third one was it shifted business crime prosecutions.
Oh,
No longer were they part of the criminal courts. Now they became part of the civil courts.
my God.
Oh,
See,
that's
this is the
interesting. So
Monsanto.
criminality is now civility.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a criminal. now.
So I mean, why should people with ties have to go to and do hard time?
Well, because they're just nice guys.
See, that's the
They're
farce.
Italians.
That's the
seriously.
farce of them saying we're going after white collar crime now, because now we know it's all civil anyway. It's not even. It's
Exactly. It's civil crime.
it's such a
It's-
joke.
it's-
I mean, we're just
not criminal. It's civil.
So they should fill the potholes, and if they don't move quickly, the army should shoot them. I like your Pol Pot idea.
An army of fucking guys with ties, they're not going to make good pothole fillers.
Hey, they will, or they will die.
Or they get the lash.
Pol Pot.
They'll get the bullet. They'll
Right.
understand. It'll only take one of them
So-
to hop in the line quick. They're smart fellows, the best and the brightest. They'll have no problem figuring out how to shove them hot tar. Come on, boys, let's get to it. By the way, you don't have work boots, and we don't have one of those jacks that flattens it out. Start jumping.
I see that in Quebec. but they
Continue
just
on.
16 hours a
Pat
day.
it down with the shovel.
then you
They don't
walk
need
back to the
anything
soup
else
kitchen.
more than that, do they? So yeah, the civil courts gave them greater flexibility and latitude to remedy serious, to effectively decriminalize financial crimes, right? So it's basically to the point where now if you commit a corporate crime, right? Or
You can't
a
throw
white-collar
Rockefeller
crime.
and his buddies in jail ever.
Well, you could give them a lawsuit.
The
where
guillotines
you
go
fine
on.
them.
Yeah, you can find them.
Fine
You
them.
know.
Find them, which will all be lost in the tax breaks and royalty write-offs.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be able to write off their fine.
You know, even the United States
We'll just play this card.
has tougher laws. Even the United States, right, as evidenced with Bernie Madoff.
I'm willing to say that The Hague has rules that govern over this shit that these people ignore.
Yeah, but they own The Hague, too.
Yeah, exactly. They are.
Council
Hague.
13 owns The Hague.
You know, I understand,
They're
but
Hague.
you know, like if there was a functioning world court, corporations and
Corporations get away with.
people that run corporations would definitely be up on the list of people that need to be punished.
Well, they're not, and they're the people that usually run.
Well,
these-
we you know, like this, we really are. Canada is the collective blueprint for how they want the world to work. Apathy.
You
fat-
know,
no,
I
they
got
want.
tired of this kind of questioning, so it'll be for the last time. Leave your luggage on the platform. Clearly label it.
Here,
Yeah.
Paul.
They are promoting Canada as the collective.
Yes.
This is the blueprint for humanity. You two can be apathetic, fat, lazy,
Absolutely.
intolerant, no time for anyone. Daycares will raise your children.
It's
Don't
okay.
worry.
Just
You're
live
richer
along
than you
the
think.
railroad line.
Yeah.
You're richer than you
It
think.
is a fashion. What is the
We move
definition
you
of
in
fascism? I want to know. What's the definition of fascism?
Well,
Can we look
complete
it up?
corporate
Can I look at your
control of-
iPad?
A state controlled completely and utterly by
No, I
one
just-
person or a small oligarchy of people committed to the same goal.
basic
Oh, so we are living under fascism then?
Yes.
corporate control, basically.
No, that's why I want the real definition of
A
fascism.
Well, I don't know, get a
merger, a
dictionary
complete
quickly.
merger between corporation and states.
I'm sure
Right?
we're there. I'm
That's
sure
the
we're.
goal.
I'm sure we're under
The
fascist
destruction
rule right now, and
of
they have a
Great.
new name for it.
Right. Now, exactly. Look, we have it. We have a corporatocracy. That's what we have right now. Okay? We have corporations that run our government. It's not. It shouldn't be a fucking mind fuck to anybody.
How did they convince the people that work for the corporations that they're no longer people? That they're
You
just
can
a
fool
cog in
some
the wheel?
people sometimes,
Well,
but you
they-
can't fool
they-
all the people all of the time.
Well, they've not fooled us, but that doesn't
You-
mean
you know
we're
the story of the
dude.
Emperor's
We're not
new
the
clothes?
majority. We're the minority.
Hey, you know
okay?
the story of the Emperor's new clothes.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, but then that if it's just the emperor and all his retard subjects don't realize that he's naked, it's
No,
just a
they're
kid.
told not to see him naked. It is the child's innocence that says, "Ha ha! Look, he's naked. Ha ha! His underwear is showing. Pull up your pants, buddy. Ha ha ha!" You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's that humiliation that
Our
wakes
children
everybody
are
up.
being put into fucking glucose, fructose, fucking state camps that they call daycare
No,
systems.
they call crafts.
No, they
family
call
of fine
daycare
food.
systems, bro. Okay, we'll
Yeah, but
take
don't
care.
worry,
We'll
dude. They're
take
getting
care of
different.
your child.
Coca-Cola is going to send
You don't
in...
even need to be a parent.
Coca-Cola will send in
parent.
trucks full of crates full of GMO'd fucking orange juice that's
Yeah,
full
for
of,
your fucking
full of
stupid
high
kid.
fructose corn sugar, and it will give your kid the nutrition that he needs to start his day.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Be stupid enough.
become
Well,
a citizen.
Actually, the daycare that my
A
kids
fucking
went to,
proletarian
both
of the
had
New
a
World
chef
Order.
come in and cook real food. I guess it was real food as opposed to fucking
Dude,
sugar pops. Because
dude,
I know it
if
wasn't
you
sugar
don't
pops.
think we're all being fucking
I know we're being
lulled
poisoned
to
on
sleep
the mask.
so
scale. I
that
know there's-
everyone gives up their babies to the state, get off the crack because we
I ain't
are.
on that crack.
Everyone's
You're smoking
worked
that
to
pipe,
death.
man.
Talk
I
about
ain't
the
with that
lady
pipe.
on the show there that talked about how...
Oh, the lady from the MSNBC, which I don't know the name, but Alex Jones was had her thing on, and everyone else has had her thing on YouTube, where she said, "Your children are no longer, mom and dad's responsibility. They're actually part of the collective. They're actually part of the community. They're not your children. They're the community's
You're
children."
my children now. You're not your children. And I'm giving them to the town hall over there. They
Yes,
own.
exactly. Because the town hall, don't worry, will raise them in their daycare system, and they'll take care of them while you go to work and do your thing. And don't worry, we'll teach them values.
It'll be the hands.
And we'll teach them. Yeah. It's a sick, dark disturbia they're building. All the women believe they should be worked to death. All the women believe they should come home tired every day, having no influence over their own children. Like, when really I don't know, because they've never come out with a study. I've never seen a program, and I've never seen even an article that said, imagine what the political influence of all the women talking together was compared to now where they hate each other. Imagine when they were all out hanging out close together and saying, did you know my fucking husband's a cheating bastard? And she says, yeah, mine too. Or did you know that they're doing this to our children? And did you know?
Or did you know your wife is a cheating bastard and fuck her?
Yeah, well, back in the day, people actually clung to values, but now the new normal says you don't even have to cheat on your wife with another woman. You can go bang a dude, right? That's the new normal now. No, it is.
That's not a good option, man.
Yeah.
No,
okay. Sorry,
that's the new normal.
I'll take the
now.
other.
That ain't gonna happen. So next.
Nothing is off the table now for
So
these
apparently
people.
it's
okay?
divorce and
All right,
celibacy.
so let's now.
So that lady building collectivism.
That's madness, I tell you.
She looked at Canada and said, we are the ultimate blueprint for collectivism. We're apathetic, fat, lazy, stupid, go to work, give our kids up, we don't care, and we do it all for the betterment of
corporations.
The 150 of these fucking CCNI.
So the Canadian chief of the Canadian Council of Chief Executives had a solution to lackluster production in Canada. They had a wonderful solution.
Really?
Yes. More corporate tax cuts.
Oh, I was going to say more robots. My guess was going to be more robots.
Yes.
Fuck.
Robots eating pies.
And instead of taking the record profits that they were making and investing into the industries and building up our own production and all that, they took that money and they kept it to themselves. Or they invested in themselves, right?
Or, that's it. Or maybe they went and they bought up a branch of something in another country somewhere where they could enslave people there. These motherfuckers. Go on, tell me more bad news about these fucking assholes that claim to be great people.
They have this huge surge in after-tax cash flow.
Wow,
since 2000, right? And they don't have all the information. We only have about 2.
Let me check my cash surge.
280 billion.
I got
$280 billion. This is after taxes, right?
Oh my god.
They're sitting on.
I got a Finsky here, Jeff. what the hell did that buy me? It's not quite $5 billion there, or $800 billion, or whatever. I got $5 though. Go on.
They'll take it.
No, I'm surprised.
You know what?
I'm surprised I have that $5 actually. Shh.
Don't
tell anyone I have $5.
They'll give you a sticker. Oh. You are a supporter of the CCCE.
I do love them. I do love everything that gives us fucking good corporate jobs. They could use donations
because they take donations all the time, as I said. Instead of...
Actually, my name is Greg, and I'm looking for a great corporate job. If somebody
instead
out there can get me a desk
I'm looking for a big signing bonus.
Yeah, if somebody can get me a desk something where I can't talk to anybody.
Where you pay me a lot of money in advance to show up on
I look at a computer, and maybe I can harass people at home.
I'll phone them up and say, where the hell's the money you owed them?
Jeff, go on.
You guys have seen these commercials? The economic action plan.
Oh, of course.
Oh, it's Canada's economic action plan.
Well, this is where it's from.
We're getting you a job working.
Oh, they brought us good things then.
Yeah,
they brought us all the water in Alberta is polluted. Thank you.
Right.
Okay. What else have they brought us, Jeff?
Well, Alberta's. We haven't even got there yet, but we're going to get into that, man.
Oh, well,
so basically, this economic action...
you don't need to drink water. What the fuck's the matter with you? Beer is perfectly fine. Yeah. We got Coors.
If you have beer.
Like
good, real beer.
Bitumen
Budweiser.
Bitumen beer. The new beer. Bitumen beer.
It's got a real bite.
Real taste of oil.
You and Albertan.
Have you guys seen that Corona commercial? And it's like, and they're showing like, hey, you know what? You're a real Canadian. You believe in liberty, and they show a chick and she's pulling her
live free, drink Corona.
Right? And then the next thing you know, they show a bunch of 20-something, and they're blocking a bunch of tree cutters.
No,
right?
there's three of them, one guy and two girls, right? And he's looking at the cop going, I'm a tough guy. And the cop's going like, do I really have to shoot you? because
not a
I'm an
farm.
idiot. I will, you know.
No, it's the logging guy, right?
Yeah.
The logging
No,
guy's
but
got
it's
the
him and
helmet
two
on.
girls, right?
Yeah, but they're against the loggers, and they're protecting the tree,
Because we're Canadian.
right?
It's
And then they're Canadian, but guess what? You're gonna drink Mexican beer because
because
we made a
free
commercial.
NAFTA says
We
that
made
you
a
gotta
commercial
drink this
that
shit
tells you that you're Canadian.
without
And
doctor.
therefore, because we told you you're Canadian, you have to drink Mexican beer.
Well, because
No,
you're also
TV.
Mexican now. Because you're also
Because
American,
we're-
you're Mexican
yes.
and Canadian
I have a
all
question.
at the same time.
Is that
you're,
right?
You're like a burrito Big Mac
Yeah, you're a burrito Big Mac
with a beer,
With a beer.
eh?
I got a question. Is that why she's in love with the Mexican and me?
I guess so, man.
Oh no, guys! Really, we see the way they propagate their
Silver rings!
their thought processes, and they do.
Them's washers.
They want you to be.
Sitting around with a bag of silver rings, your thumbs in your ass, and a big bag of silver rings.
A big bag of washers.
Even the way they constantly promote. How many Canadians go to Mexico every year?
A lot.
No, but did they constantly tell you that story in the news?
No, we all
Or-
go down to take a vacation because
Yeah,
it's hot
but
and cheap.
Canadians go everywhere, dude. Just so you know. Just so you know. Canadians go everywhere. But they tell that story of how Canadians go to Mexico.
And get murdered
all
by
the...
the drug gangs.
No, don't worry about that.
No, that only happens in this town,
Yeah,
and all the Mexican towns.
Anyways, basically this
I like Mexicans.
this economic action plan, right, continues unabated the regime of public subsidies.
Public
Private
subsidies.
profit,
For
right?
private profit.
That's it. That's our free market.
Our
man.
public subsidies for private
You are
profit.
going to bail out the big banks and big
I
corporations.
love it.
Why not, man?
Did these guys have Donald Rumsfeld working with them, or they just take his notes?
No,
Listen,
hey.
This is according to the Fraser Institute, which
Oh,
is
those guys.
a right-wing think tank, right?
Yes.
But they
I
said
want a
this.
job with you guys. Phone me up.
Bailouts and subsidies by Canadian governments to business surpassed $200 billion by 2007.
You know something? Those motherfuckers during the big bailout there where they said Canada was doing so well, they didn't even exclaim how much money we gave to companies to bail them out. They didn't even talk about it. They made it seem like
course
we
not.
didn't give over a goddamn dime.
So-
you know we gave over...
I'll tell you how much we gave over.
Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
nice.
Oh,
Can I
sorry,
tell you?
eh? I'm sorry, there, eh? Sorry, eh? Oh, here comes the beer. Get out of the way, eh?
Yeah.
I
Go
want
on.
to tell you how much it
Leafs
worked
rule, eh?
out. The bailouts worked out to $15,126 per person and
Oh, we're bailing them out that much.
absolutely. Why not?
Oh yeah, what am I thinking? Sorry.
It's Donald Rumsfeld, man. You gotta get on board.
Paul, you love Rummy.
Yeah, good job, Rummy.
Everybody needs
Thumbs
a Rummy.
up for Rummy's Cliff Notes.
Everybody
How to
needs a
rip
Rummy.
everybody off, but you do it by a small percentage, which adds up to a lot at the end because we have a lot of small percentage.
Well, you lost a couple trillion here
Yeah.
and a crippled
Paul has
trillion
spoken.
there.
Everybody
It's-
needs a Rummy. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody needs a Rummy.
If you lose a couple trillion, all you gotta do is take down a few buildings, and
Up
nobody
your
will
ass
notice
brigade,
anything.
man.
Yeah,
Nobody
up
will-
Lockheed Martin stock, right?
Exactly.
Lockheed Martin.
Pump up
Destroy
your
all the
drug
records.
supply.
So get this.
Leave your
So-
luggage on the
So
platform.
listen,
Clearly it.
Lockheed Martin has decided, because we didn't buy their 10 F or 20 F-35 jets that they said would only cost us $800 million, but in the end cost us $40 billion or something.
wanna
And
see
they're not
this.
going to give us a deal on
No,
the
no,
next
no.
20. We're going to take
So
the
what
next
they're going to
model.
do now is actually buy commercial time for the TV. I heard this on the news today. They're going to buy commercials. They're going to come and they're actually going to lobby Canadians how you need your planes. Without your planes, you're never going to survive. Lockheed Martin's new financial plan is not only Canada, they're going around the world to tell everybody you're never going to make it without planes.
Why don't you put them in charge?
They're talking to Rummy. I'm telling you, they're
They're
talking
the number
to him.
one
They're
arms dealer
saying, Donald, how do we do
in
this?
the world.
First of all, you get a whole
No,
bunch
they're
of
the
commercials.
number
You have
one-
to use these colors and these frequencies.
Yeah.
It will sell to the
Hey, man.
people no matter what.
They're the number one arms dealer in the world.
Here's
And
the
they
key to the
fucking are
glucose,
going-
fructose, aspartame.
Come on, what's, I mean, 15,
I'm not joking, man. I'm just
15,000, it's
exaggerating.
not a big deal, right?
Yeah,
We
per
can-
person.
I'm like 1960s.
They need their fucking limousines.
I got
Come
$5.
on, right?
I told you I got $5.
Well, then no.
I need
Don't take
Kim
it.
Kardashian's
But then-
toenails.
You can write an IOU.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Put me on high interest, though.
gotta be
Eh?
on
Don't
brown
give it to me
paper,
low
though.
interest, eh?
It's got to be on
Not
brown
like
paper.
312%.
Brown paper.
I don't want Chavez's 1% deal for oil. I want to pay
No.
high percent, like the TD Bank, 19% per.
No, they're going up. They're going up.
They're going up. Well, they're upset.
10% they're going up.
Flaherty called the banks that said, we'll take your business at a lower interest rate because the Bank of Canada is lending out money at zero, right?
Yeah.
So the BMO says, Bank of Montreal says, well, we'll lend you money at $2.99 for 5 years at your mortgage. Flaherty, who's our finance minister, called them up and said, you shouldn't be doing that. And they said, well, why not? We love the business. He said, but no, we're trying to fuck people over. And they said, well, no, we're trying to help people out. And actually, that'll help us out. Because if we give them a better deal, we'll actually get their business. Well, no, we're not out to do that. We're out to fuck people over. What the fuck is wrong with you? You didn't get the message. You bastards. He went out in the press, and every...
You weren't at the Bilderbergs meeting in 2008.
You fucking fucked up, Sally. That's it for you.
Every newspaper and every fucking media, TV that night came out and said, Jim Flaherty's upset. BMO's giving you a better deal on your money. And people are, I don't know if people are supposed to jump on board and say, those bastards giving us a deal on our money.
What
Right?
the fuck?
How dare they?
Yeah, I know.
What?
But Jim Flaherty's upset that Canadians are actually going to get a bit of a break. Do you know they're giving 30-year mortgages in the States for 3.4%?
And Jim Flaherty wants to fuck you in one ear
The
and
most
fuck
they're-
you in the
The
other
most
ear.
they're going to give you in Canada is a 5-year deal on your mortgage. Because they know at any moment they could raise the fucking interest rates to 10, 20, who knows what
That's
percent.
exactly what
And
they're
they could
doing.
steal all of your money. Man, if I could get one of those government 3% loans like they're giving in the States for 30
Fuck
years.
that. I want a 0% loan. As much as I want, then I'll pay you back whenever.
That's the way loans used to be.
That's how banks
Um,
work.
It used to be illegal to charge
Usury,
interest.
yes.
on a loan.
It was a sin.
Illegal, immoral,
That
and
was
a sin.
That was prior
Not
to
only
an
that, a
institution
mortal sin that would
or
last forever.
a
Yeah.
business called the Federal Reserve.
Well, it turned from a
right?
sin into
That
a
changed
blueprint for
everything.
humanity.
Yes, we'll rape you.
It
perpetually.
totally skewed the other way.
But a
Have
hole
you
in
guys
this drum.
ever heard of Security and Prosperity Partnership?
No, tell me about this one.
Well, this is interesting.
Security and Prosperity
Because
Partnership.
This is something that the Canadian Council of Chief Executives was pushing for a very long time.
Sounds like rich
and
people
they
getting
almost
together.
got it
Yeah, go
through,
on.
right? It was the attempt to dissolve the borders of North America.
Yeah, that sounds like
And the
corporations. For
what
rural
happened was
development.
is that, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in 2009 they had a big meeting in Montebello, you know, like where the Bilderbergs
Yeah.
lived before, and
Yeah, they have selective
outside of
retreats.
Ontario, but in Quebec, you know, just outside of Ottawa.
Yep.
And they made headlines in 2009 because there was photos taken of agents provocateurs, like police agents that were put into the demonstrators to
cause trouble.
to cause
Dude,
trouble.
I've seen the
You
pictures
saw
from those.
that, right?
With the,
The
fucking
boots.
police boots.
Yes.
They're arresting police officers. They're arresting guys with police
And
issue
they were causing.
Where did you get your police issue boots?
They were
Unless
smashing
you were a
things.
fucking police officer. You fucking assholes.
It's one of the telltale things of the New World Order.
That's
photo
why they say anyone who shows up in the riots with
with
riot
full
gear
mask.
on, like full
Yeah.
mask and
They're
stuff,
cops.
They're cops.
they're
Exactly.
paid, they're mercenaries,
They
they're mercs,
use
man.
that
They're-
tactic big
Infiltrators.
time. They learned that tactic from the blueprint of the New World Order, which is Canada, and they used it during the Occupy Wall Street to great extent. They used it over and over again, where they put people in there that
We're
would
the-
cause trouble.
we're-
Well, you remember the flip the bus incident where I said watch, right? Flip the bus, flip the bus, and then people were rocking it in 2 minutes. They were all standing around quiet with nothing to do.
Well, when people are
It only
drunk and
starts
excited over,
it only starts, but that's how the mob works.
yeah, we know how the mob
That's
works,
simple,
but
but ching,
the
ching.
mob works. You're right, and this is the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is a couple agents provocateur, right there in the scene at the right time,
Couple
and they
pork
know what
chops
to do. No, they know what to do to push the mob in the right direction. And this is a classic fucking NWO sort of
And you notice
strategy.
how the lineup of police was up the road, and I mentioned they're going to move in one line, and then they're going to move into the next street. And I said, now it's time to go. And we went around the corner, and then all of a sudden there was like extra cops, and we were like, holy fuck. Remember that?
I don't know, Paul.
Well,
We were
the-
completely hammered. and
Paul
on
Pot
top
had
of
it. Paul Pot had it all figured
I'd
out.
seen
But
the
anyways-
cops arrest people in a riot before, and
Anyway,
this is how they do
I've
it.
seen it many times, but yeah.
But I saw it from a balcony. I was watching it.
Let's go back away from the Montreal riots to.
It's a Montreal fucking
We'll go back to the
championship.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was in Montebello, Quebec, right? And what they were protesting basically is the secretive behavior of the Canadian Council of Chief Executives, right? And at the original SPP, right, the Security and Prosperity Partnership, was signed by George W. Bush, the then Prime Minister of Canada, Paul Martin, and Vicente Fox.
Conveniently.
At the NACC, right, in 2005. But because of the public pressure now, a lot of that came out because of the photos and stuff that showed the police infiltrating the protesters, right? It was derailed.
The police infiltrated.
It was derailed, right? But not for long, because they came out with a what they do. They fucking just reiterate it. They come up with a new thing, and they go,
new
we forgot.
introduction,
Let's put
say
this
the
in,
same
let's put
shit,
this in, right?
new conclusion that reflects the introduction, which reflects
So
the
the
distraction.
original SP was ostensibly designed to improve North American security and border management, right? And the idea is like ease the travel for Canadians who frequent.
That's their
do
selling
business.
point for sure.
Yeah,
We can move drugs easily if people who frequently fly back and forth don't have to go through security checks. Especially all the drug mules and people with small planes with lots of cocaine,
Yes.
heroin, and other things.
And when they were publicly pressured, that's what they sold it as. But because they didn't allow any public participation, it basically torpedoed the whole fucking thing, right? But it didn't get them down for long, right? Because then they came up with the new border vision, right? Which was the next idea, right?
Drone planes.
And then, and I was checking this stuff out. Of course, we know this because we talked about it before, that, yes, indeed, in 2011, they
The
did.
huge order for
They-
the drone planes for domestic purposes has just been passed.
Yeah, we talked about this before when they signed a joint provision. It was early in the days when we started doing this.
Yes.
Like, all of a sudden, we had... And this
They're
is what...
allowed to arrest American officials are allowed to arrest Canadians within 100 miles of the Canadian border
That is sick, man.
without any fucking jurisdiction
Can
problems.
they bring them
at all.
across the border?
Of course.
Yeah, just
within
grab you.
100. Within
We're
100.
taking your country, doing whatever the fuck we
So
want.
we're 80 kilometers from New York City? Or from New
No,
York State?
We're more than that. We're 150. Probably.
Okay, so we're beyond that limit?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It
We're
could
pretty
be
close.
fucking 100 miles.
But
Who
anyways...
You don't just get across the border, get 80
Either way,
clicks.
they have drone planes covering 100 kilometers of our border. We're 100% under the surveillance of Big Brother.
And satellite.
That's just the way we did CSEC. They're monitoring every call, every keystroke,
everything. Everything.
They're monitoring-
And it's all backed up on a separate computer for backup purposes.
Every
so
one
they
of
can
our
mine it at any
podcasts.
point in time whenever they write the law to do so.
That's already out
You're going to
there,
go
so
to jail. Or the glucose fructose factory.
Yeah, because in 2011, February 4th, 2011, the Prime Minister of Canada and Obama, Prime Minister of President of the United States, signed the declaration, right? And the declaration established a new long-term partnership built upon a perimeter approach to security and economic competitiveness.
Fucking
right?
bullshit. You know they sold it as trucks have trouble getting over the border.
Yes.
That-
This means working together, not just at the border, but beyond the border, to enhance our, Bilderberg, security and accelerate the legitimate or illegitimate flow of people, goods, and services.
Yeah, they sold it as trucks can't get over the border because there's too much crap because of 9/11, which they created. It's all a fucking joke. I mean, it's just a...
It is.
We're on the wheel which they built.
Exactly. Here's your choices.
Yeah. Oh no.
You don't like it this year? We'll bring it back next year and we'll put more on it.
Thank God we're in Montreal because we get the best. We get to see it at its roots. Like Applebaum, our mayor of Montreal, says, you have a choice. You can either A, hire the people that used to be, that are still corrupt, that are the corrupt people that rob us to fill your holes, or B, you cannot fill them. Are you sure those are only two? Those are your only two choices.
Wow, that's just so.
And you know something? That motherfucker that we said
bring
was
in a bunch of immigrants
we
that
said he
can
was going
do
to
that work and give them jobs.
Call Ottawa, call Vermont, call
Exactly.
New Brunswick, call Quebec
Exactly.
City, call someone else and say, do you have anyone that does asphalt? We'll take them.
Drive your trucks up, give us the bill for the diesel.
Okay.
These
so-
motherfuckers, wait a
much.
second. I'm on a rant here. These guys, I don't even know what I was going to say. Oh, yes, this asshole who said he's got nothing to do with anything. I'm going to put a poll out, right? Mr. Innocent. I'm going to put a poll out and ask Montrealers what they think.
You think Michael Applebaum's
No,
a good bad guy or criminal?
Montrealers, 62% of them said, we don't want to pay those guys no matter what.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we're going to have to pay them anyway.
Yeah.
So what was the point
Yeah, exactly.
of his fucking poll where we're going to find out if people want to pay these assholes or not? People don't want to pay them, and he said, well, we're going to pay them anyway. So even him asking the question was just redundant. It was just designed to give
Give
his
you the
friends,
illusion of input.
yeah, give his friends another 3 weeks.
No,
Of-
an illusion of input.
The illusion of input, because you have no input. Because even when you make your input and it's clearly stated, it's ignored.
Yeah.
So he is a
Okay, we're doing this. These people are upset, and everyone's going to hate it.
Yeah.
So let's give them the illusion of input,
He's a
and then we'll do
microcosm.
this anyway.
Yeah, he's a
It's a microcosm of the whole.
Oh.
And it gives us an extra 2 weeks or 3 weeks of charging them money.
Yeah, he's a microcosm of this committee of council of fucking shitheads.
I love that. Committee of Council of fucking shitheads.
Committee
Let's call
of
it
Council
that.
of Shitheads.
CCOCFF, whatever.
Exactly. Committee of
Call a
council
spade
of
a
fucking
spade.
shitheads.
So listen to this, okay, guys?
CCOSJ is in
That
charge of
border agreement that we now
I
live,
know.
that
Dude,
that
we
we now
discussed
live
it.
under right now
I
had
know.
4 major provisions.
what? Okay, number 1. Anal probes are required. No, that's the alien agenda, sorry.
Yes, it's even
Codex
worse. but-
It's even worse. It's true.
Addressing threats early.
Yeah.
Let's find out
Pre-crime.
who the threats
That's
are.
Pre-crime.
Thought crime.
That's
Yeah,
not
exactly. We're at pre-crime
crime.
now.
You're thinking that's a crime.
FreeRadioRevolution
Fire him, shoot him, kill him.
Is
Glucose
talking about us.
death.
Crime.
They had a bomb.
Crime.
Crime.
Right, crime.
Yeah.
2, trade facilitation.
Of course, you got to get the trucks over there. Come
Right,
on.
well,
Got to get the GMOs
Glucose
back.
the
fructose
people.
factories
Gotta
need
get
to move
you got to get
things.
the GMOs over the border really
Quickly,
fast.
quickly.
Right?
No toxins in those fruit. I mean, nutrients in those apples.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you trying to pull here?
Exactly.
Arrest those people immediately.
Exactly. Get the toxin over
Number
the border.
Food in that food.
Number 3 was economic growth and jobs.
For who?
Oh,
Oh, the glucose fructose factories.
no, the
Yeah, they're growing them
robots.
up.
The robots have expanded. It's true. The robots are doing very well since all of this is
No.
happening. They are no, dude. They've
Jobs for
eliminated.
who?
No, the robots have eliminated 500,000 jobs. The robots are really doing good work.
Gregory.
No,
Gregory.
you don't understand.
Gregory.
You're just not a robot. You just don't get it.
You have to get on board.
Yeah, you have to robot yourself a little more. Okay?
4 weeks
yeah,
of
you
the
hang
Pol
your head
Pot.
in shame because it's shameful the way you're not roboticized enough.
Robot.
You should glucose fructose yourself more. Actually,
I've been trying and it doesn't work. I've been looking for the way out. This fucking Nemo guy. I'm gonna get him.
Numero 4.
Yes, it
Numero
goes on.
quattro.
Numero 4. Cross-border law enforcement.
Oh yeah, well of course.
We can enforce our law
No,
over
the
there.
100-mile. That's the 100
Yes,
mile.
yes. We, Canada, is going to go over there, United States, and we're going to kick some ass.
Yeah!
You know what?
We're coming.
You look like a motherfucker. We're going to fucking
There's
pull
only
you
two
in.
colors,
No,
buddy.
no,
Red and white. That's it.
You know,
No, you guys.
I can't believe Americans signed on to this.
you
Do
guys-
they know
We're
the
a C
threat?
court. Part 2. Here we
Do
come.
Do
You
they
guys-
know the threat?
you
Do they
guys
not
make
realize
fun. You know
what
those
a
chocolates
threat
are delicious.
we are? Do
Let
they
me
not
tell you.
realize
let me tell you, you
Rufus,
guys make
Rufus.
fun, but it was not a week after that passed that they arrested a man in Montreal who was accused of murdering a guy in New York. Do you remember
Yes.
Yeah.
that? That was a
Vaguely.
week after that passed. Okay? They're allowed to arrest people in sovereign nations now.
We don't hear about how many people they arrest.
No, we're not allowed.
We hear about the first one so they can tell us, hey, it's okay.
See, it worked.
We're gonna
we
do
got
this.
this horrible guy.
We're gonna do this.
Hey!
We're gonna do this.
Hey!
Sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
That's the border security. They're allowed to drone plane bomb us.
guys.
They're allowed.
What store are you gonna go to?
I have bad news.
Talk to me.
I have bad news because I got this information.
Nothing can shock me
I
now,
got this
Jeff.
information from the actual website. 'Cause
Nice.
You can go to the website.
Nothing
But
can
they
shock
said
me
that
now,
there's
brother.
4 major objectives, but my God, I got a 5th one here.
Anal probing.
There's another one. Critical infrastructure and cyber security.
Oh, well, dude, we're part of the Five Eyes.
Oh, you mean spying on people?
The sharing of information is not spying. It's the sharing of information. You're so negative, Paul. That's your problem, you know? You're not down with the fucking... And I'm surprised Paul
Whose
Pot...
information are they sharing?
No, listen, Paul Pot, I'm surprised you're not down with the whole... We need to know
You
what
guys
everybody...
shit on me, so I had to go on the good side, and now you want my bad side to come out. I
know
don't
what
like
he's
this
doing.
equation.
I know what he's
Do you
doing.
want me to be Darth Vader?
He's
or do
playing
you want
us.
me to be Obi-Wan
He
Kenobi?
thinks-
I'm having a
he
twisted
thinks
conversation here.
that Donald Rumsfeld will listen to Free Radio.
Robbie!
Revolution.
Robbie's
He
the
will
guy who
say-
gets the thumbs down every week!
He will say, "Hey, kill those fuckers."
Those
except
guys,
for
I
that
give them a
guy.
thumbs down immediately. They're not with my program.
No, that one's the
They've been
scariest
shitting
of
on
all.
my aspartame, glucose, fructose, and wars. I'm giving them a thumbs down. I'm telling you, he subscribed. He's the thumbs down guy.
It was right after that I brought up... Right after that is when I brought up the Five Eyes. The sharing of information. And this all came from this cross-border... Yes, please. The cross-border... Beer! The cross-border
Beer,
sharing...
baby, more beer. Oh, let's
Stop
do
singing
it.
now. This all came from...
Go get the beer in.
Okay, Paul.
Paul, this is how we ended the last
We're
one.
podcasting.
With me giving
I know.
up because I couldn't.
Greg, we haven't stopped.
I know.
Keep going.
But you start singing and then you go off. Anyway, it doesn't
Paul
matter.
gets happy when there's beer.
When they started
Paul
exchange...
likes to have his Friday.
I understand.
Okay, so we shall continue. Technology to utilize biometric data for travelers in airports and borders. It's another thing that
Yes,
they push
they're
through.
getting down to the retinal scans. They're getting down to... they have a thing called Nexus. Nexus is... Do you guys know what Nexus is?
Nexus is a phone company.
No, Nexus is...
An internet company.
No. If you want to cross the border quickly, you can register for Nexus. Nexus Travel.
Right.
Nexus will go into everything you are. They'll go into your bank accounts. They'll go into your family. They'll go into...
Awesome.
They know if you have a pet. They know if you have a cat, a dog. They know everything about you.
I have a Wolverine.
If you're willing to...
You are a Wolverine.
If you're willing to accept them knowing everything about you, they'll let you cross the border quickly.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's just like the gun registry.
If not, you'll have to go through your... Don't forget, I think they stopped the body scanning, because they've decided it is unhealthy for people.
Full fucking...
I thought they'd stopped it because they finally realized that they are making people sick. I thought that's what I read.
No, I heard that the Americans
This is
prefer
the
the
whole
groping.
thing, though. They wanted to pass this stuff, right? Of course, it's on the surface, or what they sell you is, it's great. John Manning would tell you, it's great for Canadians. It's going to help
It's not even
Canadian
that.
business
It's
people
necessary.
cross the border and be able to carry out their business and
Of course.
be able to do all this stuff. But it's really to fuck you up the goddamn ass.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
to make sure
Necessary.
that they fucking know every
Here's the mayonnaise.
goddamn thing about you. That if you've got any fucking thing that they don't like about you,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
gonna
yeah. Vic
fuck
Taves
you
will get
over.
you. Vic
They will
Taves.
fuck you over.
Fucking... What is his role? What is his...
Yeah, it was you're either with us or you're with Gene
No.
Rosen.
What's his actual title in Canada, though? A security minister?
Security minister, yeah. He's in charge
Vic
of the police.
Taves.
Police.
Is there somebody more puppetish than this guy? I mean, Stephen Harper's like a fat puppet. But this guy...
He's a skinny puppet.
He's the ultimate in puppets. Like, he doesn't even know why he's puppeting around. He doesn't realize he opens his mouth and inserts his feet like every time he speaks. That's how stupid that guy is.
That's what they want. They want their puppets.
No, but they couldn't even chosen a guy who can speak properly. I mean, they chose a guy who's just an idiot.
They chose George W. Bush.
If you don't want us spying on you, that must mean you're a pedophile. Like, at what point did that become a clever fucking thing to say?
That's when the George Bush administration said, if you're either with us or you're against us.
Yeah, I understand. They were talking about terrorism, war, blowing up shit. Even if it was a lie, they were talking about war, blowing up shit.
They were talking about this, so let me make it clear what they were talking about.
They weren't talking about victims.
What they were talking about was this. We have fucking blown up our own buildings and killed our own people, and if you believe anything else other than what we have told you to believe, you are a fucking criminal and we will fucking kill you.
This is what North Korea is like, except there's less food.
Exactly.
We have good food here. This is what North Korea is like. You have to fight through the information to decide whether what you're hearing is real or not real. You have to fight through
everything
and ask yourself, are they lying to us today, or are they telling us the truth? Is this necessary knowledge, or is it just really just something to distract us? Like, oh my God, we really shouldn't. We're supposed to be evolving. And we're actually moving backwards.
As Noam Chomsky said, democracy still requires a class of elites to manage decision-making and manufacture the general population's consent for policies that are supposedly beyond the capacity to develop and decide for themselves.
Oh, fuck Norm. You know that? Fucking
No, but
asshole.
he's saying exactly...
Yeah.
He's being sarcastic, Greg. He's being sarcastic.
Is he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's... In this quote, he's basically saying that we can't think for ourselves because we're fucking retards and we need the corporations to think
I
for
don't
us.
think that's sarcasm. I think that's
yes,
exactly how they think.
He's saying it as sarcasm. Trust
Okay,
me.
well,
Okay?
it's well put because that's exactly how they think.
Exactly.
That we're
Most
not
people
qualified.
are asleep. Most people are sheep. And it's not by
And
their
I know
own choice.
Noam Chomsky's an idiot for
By,
9/11.
it's
That's
by the taught.
one thing that I'll say about him that is troubling, because he put out a quote saying, you know, it's unthinkable that the American government had anything to do with 9/11.
Yeah,
because,
unthinkable.
You know, the repercussions of it and all this, it would be so
Liberty
terrible that
fucking bloody
nobody
fucking-
it would never
That it would
happen.
destroy the company and hasten the corporation's power.
Yes, exactly.
Don't destroy the company.
So as
Yeah,
bright,
no, they need to destroy the country, destroy the company, so that the way the shell company and the over company trusts and the trust of trusts will own everything completely and not have to deal with these legal aspects anymore.
Right.
Then we can execute all the lawyers, and it will be a perfect world.
Exactly, man.
But I agree with Archie Bunker.
So, you know, Canadian. You ever heard the CTF, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation?
CTF. The Council of True Fuckers. Tell me.
Well, anyways, they're supposed to be working for the people.
Jeff, why did you bring a list of 29 doom and glooms again this week? How much evil is going on in Canada? You need to explain it to me. I'm becoming very, very, very
Yes, you're
Stressed.
distressed. They reported that subsidies were paid through. Like, it doesn't matter. I just get pissed. Okay, so we were here talking about the Canadian Council of Chief Executives and how that they don't take the money that they've made from public investments that, you know, the government has put
Contracts, yes.
huge tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, giving them loans that they often don't have to pay back, or loans that are turned into grants or something, you know, magically they're transformed into something else that and then you see that they don't pay back a lot of the money that they've gotten. We've seen in Quebec, I mean, Bombardier, we're always throwing public money into that.
You see how much money they're saying is held up offshores now in all these Bahamian and Cayman Island banks?
Trillions of dollars, 67 trillion or something ridiculous.
Ridiculous. All the money, right? They take all the money out of the private people and
They keep it in
their
a
grant
pool
system,
to
like you
themselves.
said.
Yeah,
And then they fucking just take it out of the country and they go on vacation.
exactly.
What the? Anyway, go on.
Well,
Did you see what the banks are doing today?
no, tell me.
Yesterday. They fucking are bringing in people now from other countries to work at the bank. They're having the people that they're laying off train them for the same position that they were doing, and they're allowed to pay them 15% less.
Yeah, outsourcing.
They're outsourcing in Canada. They're bringing people in from other countries to work in Canada to do what Canadian people were
and they're
doing.
making record profits,
And
which
they're
means
allowed to-
that they're doing better than ever. We talk about it all the time. Go to Montreal, go to Toronto, go to Vancouver. The tallest buildings, the most beautiful buildings, they're always the bank buildings, right? They've got the money, and it's the same if you go back in
they're
history.
on this fucking
You
council.
go back in
They're
history.
on this council of chief executives.
Montreal
for
is a perfect town to do this. I mean, I was there with my brother this summer, and isn't it funny? You're downtown Montreal, and the two most beautiful things in all of old Montreal are the churches, the old cathedrals, and the banks. And they're both like almost in competition with each other with this incredible splendor, the beautiful marble floors, and oak cabinets,
columns and
just
I know.
huge Dorinthian columns and all this. Well, it hasn't changed. It's just gotten more, right?
They're allowed to now fire Canadians, bring people in from other countries, pay them less. There's boycotts set up on Facebook. People are saying, get your money out of fucking, I think it's, for sure it's the RBC, and I think the CIBC is
Great,
doing the
I'm
same
with
thing.
RBC.
Yeah, well,
Fuckers.
RBC is firing Canadians now to bring in some guy from India and give him the job at 15% less money.
And this is the kind of shit that at most they'll get a slap on the wrist.
No. And then they're going to call these people when they're unemployed and say, why haven't you found a job yet?
Well,
gonna
we've
have
got
to
a
take
job for you.
Yeah, Tim Hortons, right? You're going to go work at fucking Tim Hortons.
Yes, Tim Hortons.
The
That's what
mother-
our, we started off. I think I started off talking about how we were a Tim Hortons nation,
Yeah.
like Canada.
Yeah.
For Americans who listen, we got a lot of Americans who listen to our podcast. So
Well, they're a Bud Nation.
they probably know Tim Hortons if they're up in New York or
The northern states,
the northern
probably,
states, because it's crossed over. But here it is like
Well, they have a Dunkin'. They're a Dunkin' nation.
yeah. There they have their Dunkin' Donuts and other competing
And ours
brands.
is Tim Hortons,
But we have
so-
Tim Hortons, right? And they are the donut. I mean, it's not just donuts,
The
soup
coffee,
and sandwich,
King
coffee.
here. They're coffee.
Their
king.
coffee, right? Which and it's everywhere. Now you go. My brother lives in London, Ontario, and I swear there are parts where you're driving through in these main corridors where there's a strip mall, followed by a strip mall, followed by a gas station, a strip mall, a super center, a strip mall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And each one has islands, as you pull in, and it's
they
all the
have a
same.
Tim Hortons.
And there's Tim Hortons in every one. And sometimes they're directly, if you come to a stoplight, there's a Tim Hortons across the street from a Tim Hortons. And I swear, I've gotten up at 5 in the morning to get, beat the 401 traffic coming back to Montreal. Long drive, 8 hours or so. And 5 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, you go through and every single Tim Hortons has a fucking lineup of cars going around the entire parking lot to get into the drive-thru, and the parking lot itself is full, and it's like everybody is going to their Tims. Even my brother goes to his Tims every morning. We've programmed people to automatically do the same things every day while they get fatter, while they get poorer health. They're taking in the food that they're serving.
That's freedom, right? That's freedom. Freedom is the right to choose to consume garbage all day.
And another thing to note, right? Like if you're driving from Montreal to Toronto, which is one of the busiest corridors in Canada, right? Every single city that not city, town, right?
Gas station.
2,000 people, not even,
Every gas station.
every exit
Yes.
you get off, you'll have the same cast of characters.
Yeah.
And this is
Wendy's, McDonald's, Tim Hortons. It goes on.
and it's no joke. Right, it's every single town. That is the town.
Yeah.
That is the industry.
There are no
wonderful.
Yeah, there are no little diners that mom and pop
No.
own.
They
There's
don't
no such
exist.
thing. There's no such
They don't
thing.
exist.
Nobody's cooking you food. It comes in a box.
This is what we're doing to our culture We are a Tim Hortons nation. It is, thank God we got places like Montreal where there's actually culture, right? But outside, man, oh my God, there's not a lot to choose from. So anyways, getting back to what we were going on about with the Canadian Council of Chief Executives, which is really created this Tim Hortons nation. Right?
We always digress away from it, but the reality of it is
all
these
connected.
people are the 150 to 180 of the top executives in Canada.
They are Tim Hortons.
They are everything.
They are Esso.
The banks,
they are
the news, the Tim
RBC.
Hortons,
They are
anything we buy, anything we drive. That's these people.
Yeah.
That's who we're dealing with here.
Exactly.
Insurance companies and mega construction companies.
Yeah,
and gas giants.
Like we, if you're confused about that, just look at what arenas and stadiums are called now. You know, it's not the Forum
Rexall
anymore.
Place, and it's
the RBC Center, the Rexall Place, the Air Canada Centre, the Bell Centre, the Bank One Ballpark, the Prudential Centre. The what's that one? Fuck, man. The Consol Energy Center. Consol Energy. What a dumb fucking name, right?
Yeah.
But this is our world.
Yeah.
We are controlled by these oligarchies, these fucking mega corporations, and they have taken over our culture to the point where they destroy. They're a genocide upon culture. As you said, mom and pop diners, forget it.
You can't compete.
You're not there, man. The super centers, which they have, which they'll have thousands, tens of thousands of people coming in every day. If you're going from Montreal to Toronto, if you're on that corridor, these super things.
The 401 in Toronto is the busiest highway in the world.
Right. Absolutely. So, I've driven it many times. At points, it's like 40 lanes across. It's unreal.
It is,
and it's always busy, except if you go early in the morning, right?
Yeah, it's all full.
But and people drive like maniacs, although they've cracked down a lot on that. But still, it's a crazy place. I mean, it is the economic center of Canada, and it is booming like no other city.
Well, they have 119 out of Canada's 135 top
corporations headquartered there.
Yeah, in Toronto.
Yeah, it used to be all the headquarters in Montreal, and there's not too many left. But they can have them. Fuck, they can take them.
Bay Street, basically, and the bitumen sands here basically decide the fate of all.
Oh yeah, that's who's controlling
happening,
Canada. Right? We're going to get into that big time because this
oil and gas.
This all is connected to oil and gas.
And
These are the same fucking oligarchies that are setting the entire Canadian policy, that are setting the rules for business, that are stifling, suffocating any sort of ingenuity or creativity or no. You know what? You're going to pay our rates. We're going to have the world's highest cell phone rates. We're going to have the world's highest internet rates. We're going to have limits on how much data you can how much.
And we're led to believe it's a free market, right?
Yeah.
We're led to believe anyone can make it.
That's right. And arbitrarily, they'll throw cost on you. And at least once a year, I get a check in the mail from Bell. And it's from a class action lawsuit that they lost. Oh, well, they were overcharging people. Well, we're going to give you all $40 or something, right? They'll pay $20 million to a certain area, for doing bad deeds, but a little slap on the wrist. And then meanwhile, they're making money hand over fist, right?
I mean, this 150 people at 357A apparently.
Right? That's right. That is 357A.
Yeah. So now we know, right? We were joking about 357C. Of course, that's the hidden one here in Montreal. But now we're at the higher level, which is
we're on Bay Street.
So 357A, which the Turkish bacon bags must be unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're all in collusion with each other.
They're
all in collusion.
They have decided that they will give each other a piece of the pie.
But we see here in Montreal,
they will make that pie as big and fat and juicy as possible for themselves at the expense of all Canadians. Yeah, you know what? For a while it might work. For a while, having these big corporations build up, that's what brought prosperity. And a guy like that fucking tool on CBC, that bald motherfucker, Kevin O'Leary would say, you know what? It's great. It's helping the economy. It's making jobs. It's making jobs, right?
No, it's not. We're losing.
Well, that's it. Now we get to the point where now not only have they grown, but they have taken control. They have taken let's not kid ourselves. The corporations control our governments, right? That's the whole fact here, right? They are setting the rules. They are creating the culture that we exist in. Whether it's the fucking music that's I can't even talk about without feeling ill. Whether it's I'm talking popular culture, of course, right? Whether it's the fucking movies, right, where you have the same celebrities fucking blowing each other to bits all the time, saying funny one-liners and blowing people away, blowing Iranians away, or whoever's the bad guy of the week, sort of thing, or whether it's the television and the 24-hour-a-day news channels that are nothing more than propaganda machines, right? They have created this culture that it's to hell or high water. They're going for the kill, as you said, 67 trillion or something they've got tied up. And it's all gonna come crashing down because really it's nothing other than their fucking madness.
Gangsterism. It is. It's 100% absolute collusion. It's
greed.
Thievery.
It's greed, unprecedented greed, almost in human history. The amount of yes, you'd say kings and queens back in the day. The families like the Medicis and the Rockefellers and all that would have incredible wealth as well. So this is nothing new, right? But now the power that these corporations have, the technology that they have control over, that they re-engineer the patents to suit their own sort of corporate,
they write the laws, right?
Exactly. They're writing the business laws of Canada. And nobody fucking knows this because they're all drinking the Tim Hortons coffee, which is effectively the corporation's Kool-Aid, right? That's really what it is.
They've got everyone overworked. They got everyone
overweight.
Yes, unaware.
Eating crap.
Overexposed to too much crap and uninformed the whole time.
Right? There was a time. I could have argued back in the 90s, and I would have. If you had me back in the 90s, I would have said, you know what? As bad as all the shit is, as bad as all the culture is, their standard of living has never been better. Our health has never been better. We've never been better fed. We've never lived as long. The average person living, a man into 70, 71 or something, right? Average. But back then, there was a progression. But at that point, there was a transformation happening in which corporations were just gaining so much control over governments.
And buying everything.
And so it's gone the opposite way now, where people are much worse off than they were 20 years ago. They have far less money, right? 20%. I mean, everything's more expensive. Fuel is outrageously expensive. Food is almost doubling in price over every 5 years, right? It's getting beyond reach, especially when it comes to real food, not the fucking GMO, glucose, fructose, fucking poison that they are shoving into kids' cereals and bubble gum and everything.
They're so unhealthy, the kids, and people, I think they're afraid to admit it, right? I think that's part of it. They're afraid to admit what's happened.
Well, they're either on board, and if they're on board, they probably eat well and are well paid and whatever. I don't know. We're at a point now where it's just like what they are doing to our people. It's basically what it is, right? Our culture, our people. They're just putting them through the grinder. They're fucking, churning out sick, unhealthy, fat people, making horrible foods. Dumbing down the culture so that the average person is you say, you talk to people. What is your famous quote? I mean, probably your best quote for Free Radio Revolution is every single day I have people in my chair and I ask them, how many people do you know are politically active? And the answer is always the same. It's no one. This is what we're up against.
There's one guy who's politically active in the neighborhood, and he came in the other day saying there's a pipeline meeting going in at 6 o'clock or something. I said I worked till 7. I can't be there. But there's a pipeline meeting because they're trying to stop these bitumen pipelines from going all over the place and leaking everywhere and killing everything.
Exactly.
This guy's politically active, and everybody calls him a kook. Right? He comes in, he's like, you guys gotta come, you gotta support this, you gotta understand. And everybody's like, that guy's crazy.
It's just our environment.
He's crazy, right? They're taught to shut down when somebody comes in saying, look, you have to get politically active, and so people are like, oh no.
This is so dark, You know, on the surface, you could just say, you know what, it's corporate greed and it's a corporate takeover of governments. But when we connect this to the Bilderbergs, when we connect it to John Manley and some of his quotes, which I'm going to get to later, oh my God, you start to see the New World Order is in full force in Canada. As we said last night there, the blueprint is really Canada in many ways. You know, they
have the ultimate.
We're the AHL. They're bringing in the rules
people
here.
People are not even aware of this,
right?
Council,
right?
People don't even know it exists.
There's virtually no information.
I was talking to a professor at McGill, and I asked him, and I said, "Oh, in this council, of chief executives," and he's like, "What's that?"
That's it, eh?
And I'm like, "Wow, they're the best kept secret in Canada."
They are, and it when you just to give an example, I think I said this the other night when we were starting this discussion, was that I looked on Maclean's magazine, which is the biggest selling news magazine in Canada, to see how many articles they were mentioned in two different articles over the last however long that's been up on the internet.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a member, a clear member of the council, part of the same elite that own all the major news publications. There's only 6 of them, I think, major ones, right? The same thing with the telecommunications corporations, the internet, the internet providers, as we said, the big, Bell, Rogers, right? TELUS, these media, these what would be the word for them? Fuck,
Moguls.
They're utilities, yet they're corporate utilities that have what we would describe, I guess, best as an oligarchy, like a control, like a group or a cartel, right? A criminal cartel that are gouging Canadians constantly, charging us like the most ridiculous things. I'll give you an example. Fuck. I have call display, and I went to check what would be the difference to get call waiting, because of course you want to have call waiting. You want to be able to get the calls that come in just in case there's an emergency or something like that. $14 different a month. Yes, if you want that. But if you take our television, we'll give it to you for $2 extra a month, because another fucking corporation, Videotron, that provides that. So this is, they want control. They want complete control over everything. Like, if Bell wants to be providing you the television, they want to be providing you your phone, they want to be providing you your internet, they want all these things to communicate together, and we're going to trust them that they're not using this information and contributing to the whole cartel, this whole oligarchy, this whole Bilderberg Canadian elite group that control everything and, are benefiting from rewriting the rule books of business in Canada. We're going to trust these motherfuckers?
I don't. And when we were talking yesterday about how, first of all, they've already inundated YouTube with all their positive messages of what they're doing.
Right.
But the scariest one was, like I said, they're going to bring professors into the business now so people can further their education at work. So you see, they're actually going to have it. I've seen their Strange Utopia in between our breaks here. And they're going to have it where the only way you can go to university is if you're part of the corporation. They're going to fucking switch it on us, man. They're going to switch it. It won't be free anymore. You'll have to fucking
the
sign
commercial
your life
that
away.
we referred to last night, you referred to the one with the host from one of those cable news programs, right? The mulatto girl, right? Right? The MILF there, who was saying basically, your children, you got to stop thinking about children as belonging to the parents and start thinking them as belonging to the community. That is as dark as it gets.
Yeah,
that's dark. That's just fucking dark. I'm sorry.
We're in a fascist state right now.
We don't need corporations teaching us kids values, because we've seen what corporations have done to children with television. We see that there's no child, as you said, that should see a screen before 2 years old. I don't think they should see a screen till they're at least 5 or 6. And I think it's horrific to use them in commercials, because they see themselves and then they think, well, I'll be happy if I have that product, which is usually a poison, like McDonald's, right? So we can't trust these corporations to run our society. We can't trust them to run our schools. They're doing a fucking horrible job as it
They run
is.
our daycares now. They have our babies.
That's right.
It's
They
gone
have our
beyond.
prisons, or in the United States they sure as hell
In
do.
Canada too, we have all.
We have private prisons as well.
Well, here we just put Native people in prison, and in the States they put black people in prison.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
we
just
have
what
our,
we do here,
our
right?
same racism.
Did you see the numbers?
Yeah, it's sad.
Versus like when an Indian guy, a Native, sorry, not to be politically incorrect,
Right.
if there's a Native American who get in Canada, First Nations guy who gets a prison sentence, it's longer and more severe. They never get paroled.
Yeah.
What
it's-
the fuck? And there's no racism there. No, right?
Exactly.
It's get them off their lands, make them sick, fill them full of fucking alcohol and shit, and then they can
pollute
die
their
young.
cultures
Yeah,
so
pollute
that
them completely.
they can no longer even connect with it,
No, they don't even
and they become different people, or people. It's you know, it's like people. They're real people that are trapped within this fucking.
hell.
You know.
We're all trapped in this hell, bro. We're all in the same corporate world, where we have to find our little.
This is the battle. It has been the battle since the beginning of
Throwing
freedom.
ourselves
Since
to
we
work.
started this is one of the first things that we said. The corporations taken over. They're taking over our culture. You know, I'm almost like a broken record here, but it's like every element. If it's the schools, right? Now it's the schools. You said the daycares. Then they go into daycares, right? And we're going to trust them. They put their propaganda on. We saw it in the Olympics, right? They built the world's largest McDonald's. Right? Wonderful. That was the official restaurant of the Olympics, the Zion Olympics, right? Because of course, if you rearrange the letters or the symbol of it, you got the word Zion, which is a sick joke, right? You know, this is the kind of shit that is thrown in our face. They had Coca-Cola propaganda from Coca-Cola in which they were they cared so much for kids' nutrition that they were bringing in GMO'd fucking orange juice full of high fructose corn sugar to children, and that was considered nutrition. And it was a heartwarming story played with a soft piano in the background. And this is how the corporations fucking fuck us up the ass every fucking night. They are not just they are literally harming the children with everything that they're producing. I mean,
you know, the problem is us having this opinion. I mean, it is such an extreme topic. People call you an extremist, but how could you not be extreme? When we're dealing with
confront it with the facts.
Yes.
You know, not the what they tell you on
It is serious.
Wolf
It
Blitzer.
is extreme. It is out of
Exactly.
fucking control.
It's out of control.
150, 180 people in Canada that tell the Prime Minister what to fucking do.
Right.
How do 150 people get in charge of every fucking thing that happens, and they don't give a shit about anybody? Look how unhealthy we are.
Exactly. And what's our solution to health? Well, here we go. Here's our pharmaceutical industry.
Pills, yeah.
We have a fucking Merck Frost thing here. It's
you see?
the size of a small city in Kirkland, right? That's the only fucking thing I've ever seen expand over and over and
The
over
doctors
again.
came out yesterday and said 1/3 of Canadians will have diabetes, type 2 diabetes. 1/3.
It's and before
When none of us should have it until we're old people, and that's only
and
because your
if
body's breaking down.
exactly, and that's only if you ate the shit all the time, anyways, right?
Oh my god, dude!
You know,
1/3 of
our
Canadians,
solution to
they
it-
want to test us every 3
We
years.
said here, you know, their solution to building up industry in Canada was more corporate tax cuts. That's their solution.
I know.
We're gonna cut
Give
cut
them a break.
Yeah, that's gonna bring it up. So it's the same with their solution to what's the solution to kids' health? Well, more pills, right? More pills, more doctors, more. You know what?
No, more pills, less doctors. We
More
have trouble finding
GMOs,
doctors,
more
right?
GMOs, more vitamins, more supplements.
Yeah.
You know, more of this fucking bullshit industry that does.
They want you to go to the hospital. They said yesterday 12,000 people a year die from sickness from going into the hospital. 1 in 10 leave sicker than when they went in. Because
Yeah,
they
exactly. Because the
12,000
hospitals are
people died in Canada last year from contracting hospital superviruses.
exactly.
They're filthy. They're disgusting.
Seniors die all the time, and
People
in those
don't
places.
clean. And, you know, like
People will go in like an 80-year-old woman or an 85, and you get to that old, you fucking done a lot of things right. You get that, you get maybe you sprain your ankle or something, whatever. You end up in the hospital and then you fucking die.
Die of C. difficile. No, this is sick, right? And they're happy like that.
Yeah.
They want you in the hospital. They want everyone in the hospital. Everyone get in there, right?
Yeah, they're building bigger and bigger hospitals, just like the one they're building here. Is two super hospitals.
We never, and we pay attention.
Right.
Outside of alternative media, there is no such thing, unless they're going to threaten us that we all need more insulin. Like this article was not about people. It was just basically saying, oh, when you get diabetes, you have to be careful because you're more of a chance to get a stroke. Mm-hmm. Not, holy fuck, stop eating all this crap right now so you don't get diabetes everyone.
An ounce of prevention
is worth a pound of cure. No,
exactly.
We have 5 pounds of cure for your 8 pounds of glucose remedy, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It is a nightmare how we approach our society, and then the only reason that our society is built like that is because corporations control it. So corporations, this is the mind fuck for the average sheeple. Tim Hortons fucking gobbling, zombie that, every day, oh, what's going on? I'll look in the Globe and Mail. Well, now I know everything. Fuck. My God. You are just not understanding who is controlling you at every element of your life, whether you're fucking in the schools, whether you're in the corporations, whether you're, everywhere, whether you're working at your jobs, it's this complete control. We've got this culture that it's okay to be fat, overweight, fucking, have diabetes because we have the cure. We have the cure. In fact, this corporation that keeps expanding and growing, like Merrick Frost, right? Just get bigger all the time because, wow, there's a lot more cure that we gotta make. We gotta keep making the cure, right? We got a lot more fat kids. We predict there's going to be this many fat kids in 5 years, so we have to get on to this trend. And
you know how they know that? Because the studies that they don't release about their GMO rats all come back with them having type 2 diabetes, all come back with them. That's why they know in 20 years,
they know damn
have some
well
kind of cancer. And in 20 years, everyone's going to be diabetic. And in 20 years, you'll be dead.
Just like Monsanto knew. Monsanto knew, about PCBs. They knew about DDT. They knew about.
I had a guy 3 days ago, tell me that DDT has no harmful effects to people at all.
Yeah, that's why it's banned.
It has no. That's what he said.
Well, he's an idiot.
Spraying that everywhere. He said.
Go ahead, go and spray it. You know what? Go ahead.
He says it has not one adverse effect to mankind.
Good. More idiots like that. That's exactly what the corporations want. That's what they're training. Heck, man, watch the young turds there. You'll fucking know what's going on, right? Oh, fuck. We've got these corporations now that are threatening our whole way of life, our health, our fucking future, our fucking brains.
Humanity. They're threatening humanity.
Yes.
Because once they do have enough robots to do all the work, what purpose do we serve if it's only corporations running the world? Who are we then?
We've got Monsanto that is threatening the world with its GMO crops.
Yeah, we're gonna kill
We've got
everything on
TEPCO that is fucking threatening the world with its fucking runaway meltdowns that are still fucking.
Did you see now that's coming up to 2 years later? Do you see the radiation plumes?
It's unbelievable. It's getting worse.
No, it's insane.
It's
the
all
fish
covered
are
up.
2,500 times.
Yeah, I know.
The human consumable level, which is like whatever, should be negligible, but they even put that up and they say it's 2,500 times that.
Yeah, it is. Is so.
Oh my God.
Dark. That situation alone.
I wouldn't live in Vancouver
that situation
anymore.
alone is it's the world getting fucked with.
Vancouver rains every goddamn day. There's not a fucking chance I would go to Vancouver.
No,
okay?
I'm thinking the West Coast is not safe, and it could get worse, and it's not going to get better for a long time. They have a 40-year plan.
40-year plan to fucking cover it up.
Yeah.
To lie to us.
And even then, what's
then those
what's gonna
people-
stop
yeah.
another fucking tsunami or earthquake in one of the most fucking biggest hot zones for fucking
Nothing's
earthquakes?
going to stop it. And when they have a bigger one,
They'll have more nuclear power plants that will go down.
yeah, because the next wave might be 50 meters
Exactly.
instead of 40
They've
meters.
got the San Onofre, and as we said, the Hanford, and all these nuclear power plants are having trouble, especially the older ones. There's so many leaking plants. There's so much that they cover
So
up.
disgusting.
They just cover it all up because, of course, the nuclear energy has huge power within the government, just like the Bambinos and the
We have real-
Gambinos
we have
and the
real-
fucking
we have-
Rizzutos and the fucking Corleones and it's the Bell and the fucking nuke
Rogers
plants and the
I know,
fucking
they're all together.
let's-
Listen, 150 for sure. There's a nuke guy on this fucking list,
Yes.
right? There's an
So
atomic guy in
let's
there for
let's
sure.
get back to this because I think we were talking about Harper's economic action plan. Would you see these commercials?
Yeah,
These
yeah.
dynamic commercials
Look
with
what
young
we're doing,
people going
billions of
forward.
dollars for certain Canadians.
We talked last night about how the Corona commercial was a mindfuck. It was like, here is a Mexican beer telling you to be proud that
Yeah.
you're Canadian,
Yeah.
and yet you're going to buy Mexican beer, right? They do the same thing here. It's like, here's the corporations telling you, yeah, you know what? We're out for your best interest. We're gonna fucking make Canada work. We're gonna make your future great. Just trust us,
Yeah.
because you know what? We meet with the Prime Minister 29 times a year, right? 2 times a month,
Yeah.
at least, right?
Yeah.
To set public policy, to set
To set the tone.
set the financing of corporations
Yeah.
via the government through the citizens who, as we said, these bailouts that they fucking covered up, right? And it worked out to over 15,000 per taxpayer, right? 200 billion surpassed that. They talked about how the Canadian banks bragged about how they didn't get bailed out in 2008, right?
Aye.
We need to get bailed out. Bullshit, because the Federal Reserve came out and said, yeah, we did fucking bail out the Canadian banks. In fact, we gave them a lot of fucking money, right? So they're lying thieves all the fucking time. Right? Even Bank of Canada issued a statement saying investment in capital spending by businesses must be a key driver for the economy in the coming years. Right? They're saying that the businesses should invest. Probably Mark Carney at that time, right? And that, that's why they see him as, progressive kind of business guy, because he's speaking a bit of common sense there, in the sense that, you'd like to think that these businesses would take all the extra surplus, all that extra cash flow, all that fucking money that they're throwing into their $1 trillion fucking
Offshore account, yeah.
yeah, derivative fucking nightmare, right? That they would be putting that money into, research, into development, into making production. No. Instead, it's being shipped offshore.
Yeah. So they
And
can
it's-
own an island somewhere.
So we're paying for this fucking crap. Just like Bombardier. I can't even remember how many times Quebec has come in to bail out. Oh, Quebec's going to give Bombardier another $1 billion. Why?
9 billion, 12
So they can
billion.
get a contract, to build these fucking airplanes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great for Canada. It's great for Canada. Why? Because we keep giving them money. Where's the money coming back?
Yeah.
Where's it coming back
Yeah.
to Quebec? Right? I'd like to see that, right? So then we talked about the security and prosperity partnership, right? And how they made this agreement, right? This is of course the Bilderbergs, right? But fronted by the Troika there, I think it was it Paul Martin at the time, George W. Bush and Vicente Fox, right? And they had this plan to fucking make the corridor, the economic corridor, free up the trade, allow the flow of people, which is really important, right? Workers, the flow of fucking production to go to places where it's cheaper, of course. Allow the corporations to have this control. Not only that, but patrol the borders, watch over everybody, have this joint border, shared border patrol, as we said last night. The examples there of Canadians being arrested by Americans and taken back to the United States, and terrorism and shit like that, right? And then they changed it, of course, and then they came up with this a shared vision for perimeter beyond the border, right? I checked out the website on this, and we talked about the four different things that they had, but it was actually 5, right?
Yeah.
Which was the addressing the real threats early. Right? Oh yeah, that's the people talking about them. They're the threats.
Yeah.
Because who else is the threat, right? Who the fuck's going across the borders to do shit all on either side, right? They blamed us for 9/11, but no, none of the terrorists, that so-called terrorists, you know, the bullshit story that they gave us,
Yes.
none of them came in that way. Anyways, I digress on that. But we had the you know, the different objectives, which was basically to be able to monitor the border, right? Be able
Yeah.
to watch
Everyone.
because we're talking about most of Canada lives within 200 kilometers of the American border.
Yeah.
It's 95% of the population, I believe, or something astronomical like that.
Not too many people up in that tundra.
No, no. I mean, look at the cities like Montreal, Toronto, right on the border, right? You know, right very close to the border. Massive population, especially southern Ontario. I mean, that between the lakes there, that quarter, that Toronto. I mean, that's like 7 million people. No, fucking 11, 12 million people almost, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, anyways, this is all part of their plan, these corporations, to be able to watch everyone, keep data on everyone. What could be more valuable, especially to mega corporations, than knowing your buying habits, knowing
your
where you
routine.
go on the
Knowing your
internet,
routine, exactly.
knowing the video games that you might play, the friends that you have, where you live, you know, everything. It becomes, it's like the Glengarry Glen Ross, you know, the golden leads. This is just one part of it, of course. The darker part, of course, is being able to control everyone with their products, dumb them down to the point where they become cattle, which is largely what we are today, except for that 25% that, or it was 28% of Americans that believe in the New World Order, right? That they're actually awake, that the New World Order doesn't just, is not just an imaginary thing, but that we're living in right now.
We are in a state of tyranny. It's very.
We said that many times before. So the Canadians Taxpayers Federation, which is like this citizen watch sort of thing, they talked about these controversial partnerships and these subsidies that they were getting, and we talked about Bombardier getting 87 million, Canadian Aeronautic Engineering, CAE, IBM Canada, they're getting tens of millions of dollars, right, from, it's basically, you don't even have to pay back, because they magically turn into fucking loans, right?
Our
And
tax. Welcome to our tax dollars hard at work, right?
exactly.
Making the rich richer.
So one of the things that I don't think we did get into was the whole oil connection, right? And how the oil sands, of course, what we said before about the pipelines, this is the major thing for the Americas right now. It really is, just like the Afghan pipeline, you know, the competition with China. We talked about how 9/11 had such a huge thing to do with that they're afraid of the dominoes collapsing now in this, you know, that Iran and the Middle East would fall and come into Chinese or Russian control, right? And they need that oil because there's oil there, and they are an oil-based. Well, the world is based on an oil economy, right?
The more control they have, they can control the.
So
money,
you know, we've got no choice here. In many ways, we built an economy entirely around oil, right? It is by far, it's the black gold. It is the most important resource, and it's a real shame, because, you know, we could be getting our oil from hemp and stuff like that. We have alternative ways, but the old oil corporations are so powerful.
Well, we know Rockefeller, who built the oil world, owns it all.
Exactly. Well,
90% of it, or he did at the turn of the last century.
you
1900.
do have like the Shell, which controlled the Royal Dutch Shell. You have, like, in Canada, the Irvings, right? And these are all part of these cartels. You know, the Canadian oil sands, Direct Energy, Irving Oil, and just some of the examples. Shell Canada, Suncor, Ultramar, right? They're all part of this elite 150, right? And their whole thing, of course.
How else can you get the okay to pollute all the drinking water in a province?
Exactly.
Unless you're on the same team.
Their whole thing, of course, is, or one of their whole things, I got many things, of course, the Alberta tar sands, you know, it's a dominant thing in Canadian politics. And, of course, it's a world issue now, because, especially in the United States, this is a huge issue, the Keystone Pipeline, all these pipelines that they want to bring right across the continent.
Yeah, I do.
To
I saw the
move this
commercial. I saw the
bitumen.
commercial today. I think it was on CNN, but I saw the commercial, and they were out there. Oh, this is the future, and then they show like North America, and then they show the pipelines going everywhere, and they're like, They give you a big smile.
And then they get their pundits like Kevin O'Leary or Andrew Coyne.
It's necessary.
Fucking
gotta have it.
douchebag, scumbag, fucking know-it-alls, right?
Anti-solar energy.
Yeah.
Pro
you know what?
fucking
It's
oil.
great for jobs. It's
Yeah.
great for this. Yeah, it's great for environmental catastrophe.
Yeah.
It's great for earthquakes. It's really great for those billionaire fucking corporate monsters
Douchebags,
that
yeah.
fucking run these things
That get
because they're
richer.
just going to get a lot more money.
Yeah. Because
It's great to keep.
how much oil do we produce now? Apparently in Canada, like tons, right?
We're like the second biggest in the world,
Yeah,
I
we're
think.
busting out the seams with oil.
Yeah.
Yet the price of my gas goes up every
That's
fucking week.
because they can.
Oh, right.
You have
Because
you
they're
seen
in
a dog?
pollution.
You know,
Yeah.
why does a dog lick its balls?
Yeah, 'cause
right?
he can.
Because he can. This is what they can do. They will do it over and over again. They know. They set it as high. It's like an accordion. They'll squeeze you. They'll squeeze you, and then they'll relax, and then they'll squeeze you again, and then they'll relax. It's almost completely arbitrary. Although you know that there's complete collusion because in Quebec alone, in Montreal, we have had numerous lawsuits against
You can't even fill a pothole here without paying somebody off.
Exactly.
Can't make a sidewalk.
We've had
Can't make a house.
we've
Can't
had
make
the oil companies plead guilty several times or be proven guilty in court that they are colluding with their prices with other and setting and gouging people.
Gouging people.
And we create this society, as I said to Paul, which is unsustainable because oil, we don't have enough oil. We can't just keep producing. We're at a point where we passed the peak oil, and oil is expensive.
You're gonna give everyone in the world a car?
Yes, and we're going to build roads, just keep going further, and build cities that just keep getting bigger, and somehow it's all magically going to keep fucking floating. No, it's a money pyramid. It needs to keep growing, but the minute it stops growing, it starts to fall apart. Right, and that's the whole fucking problem is that we don't have production. Right, we've offshored all their fucking manufacturing to the point where we got 10% of people working on manufacturing or something ridiculous.
So,
like
yeah,
that.
12, I think. Yeah, and it used to be 28. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it
We
used to be even
we used
more.
to build everything from clothes to the. I don't even think we make clothes in Canada anymore.
That's right. In fact, during
fucked
the
if
Second World War, the two World Wars, we were one of the major manufacturing countries
Everyone,
that
man.
provided.
And right up until through the 60s, till the Bilderbergs decided nationalism was no good, and they brought nothing. They said, let's flood Canada full of different immigrants. Let's take
it's a
all
simple
their jobs.
equation for the billionaires because they look at it and they say, well, you know what? We'll free up the borders and we'll allow our manufacturing to go to the cheapest places on the planet, and we'll create these fucking sweatshops like in China where they had the fucking suicide nets.
Yeah,
I mean, how
the
dark
Apple
is
plant.
that?
Yeah,
How
I know.
dark is that?
That's disgusting.
It's one of the darkest things I've ever seen. It's like almost a whole street full of nets. I mean, it's fucking mad. This is what we allow them to do, and it's all good for nobody but them. We don't need more widgets. We don't need more crap. We don't need bigger TVs. We don't need this shit. And this is one of the things that Kevin O'Leary type would say. You like getting a TV at a fraction of what it would really cost. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't get it at the fucking fraction that it really costs. Maybe because
maybe it should come at a real cost to humanity.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
And then maybe we wouldn't have them. Maybe it's your idea that everyone can afford one, right? So that you can program them. Right?
So
I think
and
that's
you can make
pretty
a fortune
obvious,
off them,
right?
Asshole. It's all about these guys making money off you. But no, there is no ethic involved in business, right?
Well, yeah.
We have all these courses in university, right? Business and ethics it's got to be the biggest fucking oxymoron ever. Fucking there is no such thing.
We got Harvard School of Business, which is cutthroat, fucking corporate, fucking just corporate welfare, of
Slash
course.
and burn
Bail
everything,
out. Too big to fail, right? Make the corporation so big that if they fail, they take everyone else with them. So you have to bail them out every fucking time because, hey, man, it's the way it goes, right? You can't let them fall.
Yeah.
Even though the banksters are fucking everyone up the ass, taking billions of dollars in profits for themselves. Never have they made more. I mean, I was going to get to this. I had it a bit lower down in my notes, but the top 100 CEOs in Canada, and this is from like 2007, I think, or make 155 times more than the average Canadian, which is about 45,000, I think, for the average Canadian. 42,000, about 43,000 thereabouts. So the average CEO makes $6.6 million,
Yeah.
right? Even if their companies are losing money, even if their companies are getting these massive loans that turn into fucking grants, right? You know, all of a sudden, like, just take the money.
Right.
You know, you can pay. You don't have to worry. It's like the Eddie Murphy.
I didn't even write it down. Go. You know?
Yeah, exactly, right? And so Harper himself has recruited and spent $15 million on improving the image of the oil sands, which means television commercials, which means the economic action plan, tying
$15
it
million on propaganda.
exactly on propaganda, right?
Yeah.
This is from the Pembina Institute report. This is a quote from their findings here. Investments in the oil and gas industry require the most capital spending and produce fewer jobs than any other sector in the Canadian economy. So they get the most money and they produce the fewest jobs.
Nice. So what's the benefit for this for us again?
Well, of course.
We
We
get
get
to
to get
get
fucked
richer.
up the ass again by the fucking corporation,
I
man.
still don't like that.
You know, and you don't have to worry because Harper doesn't read this shit. He doesn't give a flying fuck, right?
Dude, apparently he's not even reading his own
He's
stuff.
tried
he's
to
told what
recruit
to do.
top executives from the oil industry into. He's moved some of them into his cabinet and shit like that.
Oh, man.
And so Canadians will subsidize $360 million in taxes that will go uncollected. Right? This is just on 1 year, right?
Nice.
Just like General Electric in the United States, it didn't pay any taxes for like the last 10 years or something like that.
In profits and no tax.
Wow. All right. So recent published reports show
the Royal
that
Bank
the
of Canada makes $14 billion in profit every quarter.
yeah, that's just
They pull $60 billion out of regular...
every time you go and
That's
use
one
one of those
bank.
machines, they're going to give you a charge.
One bank in Canada steals $60 billion from its people.
Absolutely.
That's one bank.
Mhm.
$60 billion, and they can turn around with a smile and say, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah. The Canadian banks that actually got bailed out, right, were Canada TD, right, Toronto Dominion, RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Nova Scotia. You're richer than you think. They boasted how they didn't need a bailout, but then the Federal Reserve released a list showing that the big five in Canada all got bailed out. Fucking liars. So John Manley, right, who we talked about, who was a cabinet minister, he was he was the industry, liberal industry minister, right? This, I guess, during the Chrétien era, right? And so he was the perfect person because that's what he did. I mean, before he was giving out loans, giving out grants, giving out money to corporations. Now he becomes the leader of all the corporations, or the spokesman, the fucking CEO, right, of this Canadian Council of Chief Executives, right? And so he's got, like, think about it. This is how they do it. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable. Just like Obama, how he took, these banks are going to pay. Remember he said that? I will make sure that these banks pay for the crimes that they commit. You motherfucker.
Main
Then he goes
Street
and
is
takes...
going to Wall Street.
Yeah.
Main Street
Then he
is going to Wall
lines
Street.
these guys like Timothy Geithner, like giving them top positions within, all from fucking Goldman Sachs, the same monsters that created the whole fucking thing to begin with, right? So it's the same thing in Canada, exact same thing. You got the corporations and the governments.
They fed Jack the cancer sandwich man. Jack Layton. They fed him the cancer sandwich.
Maybe they got
There's
scared.
There's no way he would go along with all that.
He went
There's
from
no way he would
looking
go
pretty
along.
good and having the best result that probably the ever best result. They're the Orange Wave in Quebec, which is controversial and all that. I'm going to get into it, but nonetheless, this new Democratic Party leader in Canada was surging. And then all of a sudden, he got very sick.
With cancer.
With
and
cancer.
died. And he was super healthy, rode his bike to work every
Yeah.
day, ate all his
Because
natural
he's
foods,
a threat.
canoed everywhere
He's
with
a
his wife.
threat, man.
It's
He's
like,
a big
oh,
time
yeah?
threat. He was
Sorry.
in good shape. Yeah, he was a thin guy. He was
he was
very likable, down to earth. I don't think many people have bad things to say
No,
about
he's very inclusive of everybody.
Yeah.
And that's something where he didn't judge people.
I actually voted NDP during that. Not so much for him, but just to help Quebec break from the PQ, and I didn't expect there would be such a landslide, but I thought that the NDP could win, which would be good. Get
they had a change of pace.
yes, get this separatist government out of power. Anyways, I'm digressing, but this is how it goes. I mean, you know, he served as the John Manley served as the public loan officer for corporate Canada, right? And, you know, under Paul Martin, you know, and Paul Martin himself received $161 million in contracts from the federal government for Canada Steamship Lines, which is not even a Canadian corporation, which operates out of the Cayman Islands and pays their workers about $2 an hour to work on their ships 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and fucking eat mud and bark.
I know,
You know?
I know, it's horrible.
Right? So they get the government contracts. Paul Martin's former finance minister. They're thick as thieves. This is how government is done in Canada. It's how government's done in Great Britain. It's how government's done in fucking United States. The corporations have taken over. They reward themselves. Then they'll fucking erect monuments of themselves and say Reagan was the best guy ever. And,
oh my god, dude! Like these, I don't even know. Like the only way I'm glad we're informing people on these,
right?
Informing ourselves as well. I'm not sure. It's so all inclusive.
It's all together now for the corporations. All together now.
They have such a handle on everybody and everything. Mm-hmm. We really are in a predicament, humanity.
Yeah, and when people are trying to get information on this, right, like the CTF there, that citizen watchdog group, they tried to get the repayment records of the loans, right? First they tried in 1998, then they tried in 2002 and denied both times, and then finally public pressure forced them to release some of the information, and we got that less than 20% of these loans that were given over a decade or whatever, hundreds of millions, less than 20% had been repaid, and which accounted for 7% of all authorized payments. So they're not repaying shit all, basically, right? And
they're taking a huge swath.
They are controlling.
7% they're taking, and they're putting back in like 0.5% of a percent.
It's unbelievable.
So it's just free money.
So now I get to one of the quotes there, because I watched I checked on YouTube before, like you did, to see what what was on Canadian Council of Chief Executives, and most of the stuff. I mean, there was the Corvette Report small segment, but most of the stuff was all their own stuff, and they had the John Manley interview. It was about 10 minutes long. Everybody should take a look at it because it's quite something. So I got a quote here that really disturbed me, because he talked about how awesome, it's really great for Canadians.
Oh my God, I know, I saw it. It was disturbing. Disturbing.
They
were so proud of this monster they've created. Yeah. They're like, no,
it's serving Canadian interests. He talked about how it's strong for Canadians, and it's great because it's all the top corporations and they're getting together, and it's really hard to get these top 150
I'm sure there's got to be at least one.
It's really hard because they're all in Toronto.
Yeah. I know, they're all on the same street.
Yeah,
it's hard to go to lunch.
Where are we going? Chateau Montebello? What is it going to be this weekend, right? They met 29 times with the Prime Minister. How many times they meet themselves? Probably a lot more.
Dude, these guys probably don't even fucking
They probably have daily contacts.
Yeah, exactly.
They're colluding to set the internet prices, the gas prices, the food prices, the everything prices, right? And of course, we know what they're doing with the GMOs.
Didn't you hear that article? It wasn't that long ago. Canada, we always knew we paid more for cars, more for clothes, more for...
Yeah.
And do you know why?
Well, because somebody had to make more money. Yeah, exactly. The dog licking its balls.
And we know why they can, because they're colluding together.
That's it.
There has to be laws against this.
So, I wanted to say this John Manley quote. So, John Manley is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of this Canadian Council of Chief Executives. And there's a lot of disturbing things in his, but this was one of the things that really shook me up. He said this: I think we've seen the concept of national sovereignty eroded in a whole variety of ways. And while it's an important concept, it's compromised by the Geneva Convention, it's compromised by any treaty, that any country is signed. It's compromised by the Charter of the United Nations, compromised by the human rights laws. So, I think we need to be a bit mature about the concept of sovereignty, right? Sovereignty is the ability for a country to act in its own best interest in accordance with the international law and its commitments to other countries. That's how we have order. My personal sovereignty is limited to the fact that I can't encroach upon yours, right? I find it amusing when people think of sovereignty as a kind of crystal jar, and we say this is the ultimate, holds it up in his hands kind of thing. Because really, sovereignty or national sovereignty is one of the tools that we use in order to give democratic expression, because we got to break things down to a more manageable size. But at the same time, it's a concept to be exercised with a certain amount of care. So this whole time, in the first half of the video, he talks about how good this is for Canadians, how good it is for the average Canadian, the Canadian people, the Canadian identity, protecting Canadian interests, and then he finishes with this quote, nationalism is a nice idea, right? Having a country is a nice idea, but really, it's an outdated thing, right? We don't, we don't really think like that. The corporations don't think like that. They don't operate like that.
They certainly don't operate.
They are not even hiding their thoughts.
No, they want us all part of the Borg, dude.
They're championing
to be the Borg. You two will plug in, and you'll be told they want our babies from birth.
Yes, they want us.
Pauline Marouin wanted to take all private daycares and make them under the
state,
provincial law, right?
Mm-hmm.
There'll be no more only provincial daycares. So it'll be our rules and the rest of Canada says, "Oh, Quebec's got it so good." They all want to be like Quebec, where they can have their babies go to the state-run daycare all day and be told to go and be a good individual.
Well, yeah, as we said, they're building up for that. That's why we got that.
Fucking joke, man. And these assholes, I bet you, if you worked for their company, they'd shit all over you, fire you in a second, and downsize your job, and fucking assholes for Canadian benefit. What a fucking joke. We know this. We know they hate sovereignty. We know it. Right? We know they hate people having any sense of independence, any sense of personal pride, or they've killed Canada. They're proud to say now Canada's shit on. Like everywhere we go, people shit on Canada now. Jonathan Beard's in the Middle East. Every country he goes to, people are shitting on him. Yeah. Because you're only one-sided now. You're only Israel side. You're not on. There's no two-state solution. There's like, you do what you're told, or we'll fucking help bomb you.
Exactly.
Like, fuck Jonathan Beard, that little pigly fuck.
They're all.
You know that? They're all fat, the conservatives, all of them. They're all mean-looking. They're all these.
They're technocratic, right-wing, conservative, fucking corporate. Corporate is the most important definition out of all.
Yeah, they're all corporate.
Because they're all on board with the corporations.
They all want a job at one of these corporations after, where they're all promised they're going to get their fucking, Yeah. Don't worry, just vote with me. We're hooked up.
Exactly.
150 guys are going to look after us, 150 guys, and we're all good, right? You're my boys, and they come in, and they're like, my boys, right? And the cabinet cheers, yeah,
And it's so ironic, right, that here they are claiming to be working for the Canadian people, when really they're obviously only working for themselves, since most of them become multinational corporations. That's just the way they go. Well, look, like you watch it. Like I think the hockey arena in Carolina is called the RBC Center, which is the Royal Bank, right? It's like, wait, it's not the Royal Bank in Canada. It's in the United States. Yeah, it's in the United States. So is Bank of Montreal. So is Bank. Yeah, they're all coming across. This is how it's working. They're spreading throughout the world, and now these ones are headquartered in Toronto, so it's their power center. So naturally, they're using all their tentacles to shape the world so that they will control it forever, and that's the bottom line. It's not about anything else other than their complete control and create whatever fucking monster society they have in mind, where everyone's going to be eating GMO'd, have no fucking energy, die by the time they're in the mid-50s, you know, fucking overweight, poor health, watching garbage on TV, listening to garbage music. You know, the plan is in full effect. It's all around us, and it's decaying our society, and we're almost powerless against these motherfuckers. They're getting to the point now where there's no. How are we going to stand up to them? How are we going to stop them? The only way that we could possibly stop them is to get new political parties or new political, you know, where you tear down.
Organization, people are worked to death and have no time. They're not stupid.
That's how they've worked it.
They know everybody.
We
has
work
no
more
time
now than we worked 20 years ago.
than ever.
We spend more time. We have more time going in transit. We're living further away from our jobs. We're depending more on oil. They've got us everywhere they want us to get the maximum that they can squeeze out of us. Just like the accordion there with the fucking gas station. It's the same thing.
They
the
don't
same
care
thing.
if you burn you up. They'll go get a new you. Right?
Yeah, well, what does it matter? You're fucking sheep,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm
They
a social
really
insurance member is
would.
what I am, right?
That's the way they think about us. I mean, if you don't think the elite with all their fucking, you know, eugenics programs and shit like that, they think of us like bottom feeders.
Oh,
right?
I told you, man. I heard it right out of their fucking rich ass mouth saying, you know, Greg, the bottom feeders of the world. They loathe humanity. They're disgusted by people. They don't like people. They like trotting on people. They feel good when they shit on people.
It's
drive by
yeah.
them and splash
I mean,
them
they
splash
see
them
it.
with their trucks or whatever. They like that.
We have who was it? Who's the politician? Was it Joe Clark? He said that we're becoming a gated.
The former Prime Minister of Canada, who was a conservative Prime Minister, wrote in and said, "Oh my God, we're this close to being a gated community country. We're losing all Canadian values and we're replacing them with rich values. We're no longer a nation of the world. We're a nation of the rich world."
They're killing national identities. There's no doubt about
they've
it.
done it.
This is how they do it, and
Well, look, Quebec is totally anti anything Canadian, right? The Remembrance Day is not even a holiday here, so everyone who went and fought and died for freedom is shit on here because it was an English war. Fucking assholes. I don't know, dude.
well,
We're in trouble. We're in trouble.
yeah, you know, it's
People are worked too hard. They have no time.
people
They're not
are worked
organized.
too hard, but then again, when they have the time, they're wasting it on the garbage. Right?
Alex Jones was saying today that they got now listed. Everyone who's Christian that goes to church
is on a list of someone to be watched.
Yes.
I know that
all
they
the,
have
all the Jews that go to synagogue, every Indian or Muslim that goes to temple.
They put patriots, right? People who consider themselves patriots on that same list, right? And on that list is white supremacists.
It's not going to be long before you're not allowed to go to church. You wait.
They are identifying everybody in the United States, and they're going for the guns. It's not like they're going to take no for an answer.
Did you see all the Sandy Hook people were on Air Force One with the president? The same guy, Mr. No Tears, and the same
Robbie
girl
Parker.
that was giving the same happy lady that was giving Anderson
madness,
Cooper
man.
her,
It's madness.
her smiling speech the next day after her children were slaughtered. Yeah, she was there.
Wow.
Yeah, the same actors. Right?
The same actors. It's so
oh no, they
crazy.
were more upset this time I saw them, and I'm like, oh yeah, what did they fucking give them some?
That's why I worked so hard on that, because I thought it was a time that you could expose it and say, look, hey, this is the reality. They're lying to you all the fucking time.
Yeah.
They're controlling you. But no, unfortunately...
It's just begun. They're back now, right? They're back to start pushing new laws through.
We see their power. I mean, I've done it in a couple solo podcasts where I said, look at the news. Look at how it's done. Look, they all have the same fucking article. There might be a couple words changed, or a paragraph here or two switched around. It's the same thing. It's just every fucking newscast around the world. It's there, and then you think, well, they're all part of the Bilderbergs.
Well,
right?
no, we know they have the CFR down there and their trilateral commission, and that's the same as our Council of Chief Executives.
The Rand Corporation.
Oh fuck, man!
They've got all their satellites working. It's all in
their
conjunction.
think tanks and
That's
their
why they're able to
fucking-
pull off 9/11.
These,
You know.
well, of course, they're all in cahoots.
Yeah.
It's easy to do when you and all your buddies that own everything get together, right? I need you to do that for me tomorrow. Done. No
Exactly.
problem. I got your back.